Knew it. Fucking knew it. That's why I messaged you. All right, we're about to go.
You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network.
I can't hear you.
Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
There is the most wrestling shit that we have to talk about today. All Elite Wrestling had their rally Tuesday before SmackDown. Raw happened, Wrestle Kingdom 13 happened, SmackDown Live happened, and in studio we have a visit once again from Casey and Squared Circle Review. They have an event going on in Detroit. It's January 19th. We're going to get into all that this week as we...
Are you ready? No! I said, are you ready? Woo! You just made the list! Oh, I knew he was gonna do that. I just knew he was gonna do that. He don't need Janetti. Damn! You don't know what hard times are, Daddy. Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. Praise to the God, oh yeah. It's the man! What the rock in cooking? 4 o'clock for life, good bout, and good night. They got the answers. I changed the questions.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the most inappropriate pro wrestling podcast in the motherfucking world. You're listening to Breaking Down the Ring. We are your ring crew.
Whole fucking Joe.
Tuna Taster Smitty.
Oh.
Wait,
What did you just say?
We'll get into it later.
We'll get into it.
And just Z.
And me, the almighty one, Mikey himself. And in studio, once again, from Squared Circle Review, who have an event at the Hastings Ballroom in Detroit, January 19th, the one and only Casey. Sir, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. It's great to be
Yeah,
back.
you gotta
Good
get
to
closer,
see
brother.
everybody.
Get into the mic, brother.
You gotta get,
Hey, it's great to be back.
talk into it, pretend it's a dick, and love it.
I love it. Yeah, thanks for having me back on, guys.
Yeah, not a problem.
Arrest that bitch.
If you move in just a little bit.
Sure.
I know, yeah.
Sure.
There we go. Love Z. So we got a whole nother situation coming up with you. Last time you were here, you were promoting a show. This time it's Parts Unknown.
Yeah, at this point, we're beyond promoting shows here. We are advertising travel, a trip deep into the inner recesses of the pro wrestling world.
Nice,
as
man.
we take everyone on a one-way first class to Parts Unknown at Squared Circle Review.
Love it.
January
I love it.
19th.
So Parts Unknown, again, if you guys go to eventbrite.com, you can get yourself tickets for the Parts Unknown show. Again, Saturday, January 19th, 9 p.m. is when it starts. Hastings Street Ballroom, 715 East Milwaukee Avenue, Detroit, Michigan, 48202. Again, I'll give you that address so you can plug it into your GPS so you can get there and know exactly where the fuck you're going. It's Hastings Street Ballroom, 715 East Milwaukee Avenue, Detroit, Michigan, 48202. If you guys need a link for the tickets on Eventbrite, you can go to Squared Circle Review. Again, it's SQUAREDCIRCLE, and review is spelled REVUE. Not regular review. And I think we talked about why it was a review last time. It's
Review is a cabaret term.
Yeah.
For like a cabaret show. So, and we incorporate lots of elements into the Squared Circle Review. So it's
And
just
the address is the New Center area, right?
Yes.
It's actually, you can go to squaredcirclereview.com. You can check us out on Facebook. You can check us out on Instagram. The address and all that information will be right there. It's right around New Center, right around where the queue line
ends and
yeah. And there's a $5 guarded lot, so don't it's a you walk up to the building, man. You look like you're going on a set from a Saw, but it's anything but on the inside.
So for those who are watching the video, that's the voice of God.
Of what?
The God of Pod. I just gave that to you. You're welcome. You can take it.
No, that's a little rich, man. I don't know about that one.
Fine, you can be Jesus.
Fine.
Dave will be God.
So you're the Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
Z, you went to the last one. I believe it was the last one that you had in Detroit.
Yep.
How'd you enjoy it, man? I remember you were talking a little bit about it last time.
It was.
You can be honest. I won't be offended.
No, I'm laughing because it's a different kind of show than an actual wrestling show. And my girlfriend was on acid. So it was a little more real for her. No, but the show as a whole it was great. It's a different take from a different perspective, but overall it was worth every penny for every minute of the show. Like, I was entertained from start to finish.
Right on. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Thanks for having him. Because he couldn't go to it.
Saw a good show. He saw a good show. That last show was...
Well, and that's the one thing about it, and we were just talking about it before the start of the podcast, is if you're a wrestling fan, you'll enjoy it because the wrestling is really good. If you're not a wrestling fan, you'll have a blast because the show is an absolute riot, right? The characters, it's like you're in the back of a 1940s carnival. The show is with a band playing the entire time. I mean, it's not... if you're a hardcore Ring of Honor mark, you might not have a good time, but you probably might.
Yeah, because, I mean, at the same time, it doesn't matter if you're just straight hardcore wrestling or you just want to have an entertainment time. You know what I'm saying? There are times where you want to go and you want to watch, good wrestling, because any hardcore Ring of Honor mark or New Japan mark is in that because they find that's where the better wrestling is happening. So there's still good shows, even though they're different characters. It doesn't mean that it's a bad wrestling show.
Well, the best part of the show is they absolutely nail the kayfabe part of wrestling. Like, if you like old school 80s kayfabe gimmicky wrestling, this is the show for you. Absolutely. And if you're a smart mark, like I guess I would consider myself, and like the background of wrestling, then it's almost like they're putting on a show that's making fun of wrestling, but you get it because it's got a whole different dynamic than a regular show.
And it's a different crowd. I mean, it's definitely not like, which is actually, for me, is refreshing. Like, I love the Squared Circle crowd, compared to a regular wrestling crowd. They're just, when he was talking about the kayfabe element and how far we go with it, and people, they just bite. They're there to play along. They're there to suspend their disbelief, and they just go all in on it.
But isn't that what wrestling's supposed to be? You're supposed to suspend your
for sure, but you know how it is. So many wrestling shows and so many wrestling fans, we're so critical. We're all guilty of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Damn sure.
So with Squared Circle, it's always been like an aim of it to be, for a different audience, for a broader audience, in a lot of ways, but also to be for wrestling fans and to have lots of Easter eggs in there for when wrestling fans, I want my own when you guys do come to these shows to be pleased too and to be impressed, and like there's all these little inside things that only you're gonna get.
Well, the thing is, like, a lot of even the talent, there's a lot of those guys that have been on TV multiple times. It's not like these are yarders, right? These are well trained. These are guys top of their game. Like, there might be but they're in a completely different character and out of their element, which makes it even better. Like, for me, I'm like, oh my God, that's so and so from so and so.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Even though he's playing a different character.
Yeah.
We've been lucky enough. We've had a steady stream of guys that have worked Ring of Honor. One of our guys is working Evolve. The night before.
Nice.
We know that guy.
Yeah. I know you guys are probably going to talk about it, so I didn't want to talk too much about it. But
kick me in the face.
Yeah.
I owe that son bitch a receipt.
So there is.
I show that son of a bitch a receipt.
With all the wacky, things in the high concept and just silliness that we talk about, or I talk about with Squared Circle Review, I just, again, to call out to wrestling fans, you will enjoy this show.
Now, if you're on the fence about it, just from how we're talking about it and things like that, you can also check out, they have the YouTube page. You just type in Squared Circle Review. Again, that's REVUE. And they have some matches on there that they're showing off. And this way you can have an idea of what you're walking into. How much are the tickets, man?
Tickets pre-sale are $15 for general admission and $20 for the front row. They'll go up at the door.
Okay.
It'll be $20 and $25.
All right.
So still a few front
Still
row
not
tickets
bad.
left. Yeah, it's average price. These guys they need to get paid. It's a big cast for a wrestling show because you do have extras, like you do have a band. There's a live band playing for the whole thing. So and there's just other production elements, and we want to put on a good show and get everybody paid, take care of everybody. So,
Right.
those ticket prices are more than fair.
And obviously, I mean, because I remember last time you said you were here, you were trying to get this going as a consistent type thing.
Yeah.
And now, like you said, it seems like it's going like that way.
Yeah, it's been great. We've been partnered up with Podcast Detroit now for a little over a year. And, going into this, our second show together, we've got a lot more traction. We have a lot of potential work coming up in the future that I can't talk about too much right now. Hopefully I can come back and talk to you guys about it sooner than later.
Right.
But just some other aspirations of things we want to do with this wrestling show that you really can't do with a lot of wrestling shows. Like this show, the way it's built, it can be taken to different places other than just like a small hall in a wrestling event. Like you can plop this down in a lot
Somewhere like Kobo.
No, more like different festivals.
Okay, different festival. Okay.
Yeah, Masonic, a Majestic.
I was thinking like, well, I think Kobo's a big event. Depending on how you set it up, it could be.
Kobo's not Kobo anymore.
Kobo
Yeah.
is I mean, it's a historical building, but aesthetically, like, it's not my cup at all in there.
No, but like
and,
I got
and how much and what it would cost to it's been done. It's to run a show at Kobo Arena is no small feat. By even just to pull it off, let alone make it look really, really nice. So, but I
That's what I'm saying. Like Kobo is like depending on how you set it up. Will
see,
be,
and again, I'm not even talking about different buildings to run in. I'm talking about different, again, situations, things like festivals, things that wrestling doesn't usually happen at, that Squared Circle
like a
can happen
convention
at.
or something.
What's that?
Like a convention or something.
Conventions, festivals, things like that bring in all sorts of different live entertainment that Squared Circle could happen in front of, and they wouldn't know what it was, and they wouldn't be going there for it, but once it was happening in front of them, they would be into it.
Nice, man. So when you're saying with all the things coming up and everything, one, we definitely want to have you back on the show to talk about that. If you'd like to break it here, we would love to have you break it here. Mm-hmm. Other than that, is there another event that you have normally coming up in this year that you can talk about?
Right now, it's all Squared Circle. But you mentioned, it's funny you mentioned things if I wanted to break something. I can break some news here.
I'll do it
right now.
That's what we love.
Just announced for Parts Unknown. We've never been done before, which I think is apropos for being Parts Unknown. We're going into Parts Unknown with this match. It is a loser leaves town match with the Brobot fighting the smoothest legs in all of wrestling, Sal Silk.
Oh, Sal Silk.
Sal Silk has been
Brobot.
The Brobot has been just pulling the rug under Sal Silk's feet for just too many years now, and Sal Silk is just like he's had it, right? And he demanded a match, and the Hobot has finally agreed, but under that one stipulation: it's loser leaves town. So whoever loses this match, boom, they're done with Squares. Two fan favorites. You're talking about Sal Silk, a former champion. You're talking about the Brobot, the cybernetic, futuristic douchebag. It's just like there's a lot at stake.
He's the cast of Jersey Shore.
So that's going to happen. And the other, it's a double main event. It's actually really a triple main event. But one of the other main events and the main event is going to pit best friends up against each other for the first time ever. Pogo, the one-legged boy, will be taking on the world's largest wrestling toddler, Baby Gaga, with his how do we say it? His dadversary, Maybe Daddy.
Maybe Daddy.
Maybe Daddy. Is he black?
So let me set a No,
he's not.
Damn it.
Let me set the stage for you guys. So me and Allie get to the show a little late, so it had already started. I think right when we got there was like a match and then like first intermission or whatever. When we come back, it starts hitting her real hard. Like she's like
acid.
Yeah, and she's like gripping my T-shirt, like kind of like hugging on my shoulder, like looking at the ring, looking back, looking at the ring, looking
Tripping
back.
balls.
And here comes Baby Gaga.
How did she not lose her shit in there, dude?
I commend her because she did wonderful, but there were times where like her face was just buried in my shirt. She's like, I don't know what's going on. I need to pull myself together. She's like, get me a beer or something. Like,
I'm trying to think what movie that they had the bad trip on. It was
Fear and Loathing.
No, not Knocked Up.
Knocked
when
up.
they went to Vegas and they went and watched Cirque du
they took the
Soleil.
mushrooms
Yeah,
and
they were on
yeah.
fucking mushrooms. And the mushrooms are hitting me, man. I can't do it. It's a bad trip. That's fucking spectacular. I can only imagine
Baby
how.
Gaga on acid is a bit much.
Yeah, no, and
White people drugs.
Truth.
These crackers.
Especially, not knowing what's coming out and then having to be that.
oh yeah, and she could not look at the ring that entire match. And the funny part is, when she's not on acid, she loves babies. So she was absolutely terrified. We were in like the back corner, right next to the door, and like the little bar they set up for like the merch stand. And she had to like hide behind the merch stand for a little bit.
It's amazing.
Well, Baby Gaga, dropped, under the tutelage of Maybe Daddy, dropped, 80 pounds, 85 pounds?
Oh,
for,
no
for those of
kidding.
you guys that didn't see it, Baby Gaga, it's a new Baby Gaga.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe Daddy, once he resurfaced, he got Baby Gaga in shape quick, and now it's like a new look Baby Gaga, but his attitude is kind of the same, and it seems like Maybe Daddy is trying to impose some of his, his dastardly ways onto Baby Gaga.
That
but
dastardly bastard.
Baby Gaga is just, I try to stay out of it, and I try to stay, impartial, but I don't know, Baby Gaga is just so sweet. I don't know if he's gonna behave that way and carry on that way and work that way.
We all want to
Fight
impress
that
our
way.
parents, maybe. Or maybe parents.
So once again, let's give you everybody the heads up. You can go to eventbrite.com or squaredcirclereview.com.
Yeah, just go
They'll
to
give
the
you a link.
website, check it out on Facebook, make it real
So
easy.
who else is on the card?
Yeah.
Also on the card, we have, I said it was a triple main event, and not to disappoint, the third of the three main events is a Bible Belt title match, where we will pit Triple J, Jebediah Joshua. He will be taking on the hot up-and-comer from the grave, Count Dance Show.
Oh.
It will be time for the percolator.
I am
Get
scared.
ready.
I hear Bible Belt and I just cringe
The
in
Bible
fear.
Belt.
I cringe in fear when I hear Bible Belt.
Why?
The Bible Belt.
Have you ever been to the Bible Belt?
No.
Yeah.
That's why I don't cringe in fear. So yeah,
I
again,
don't go without a gun.
squaredcirclereview.com. That's REVUE. So if you're not spelling it wrong, Hastings Street Ballroom, Detroit, Michigan, January 19th, starting at 9 p.m. You guys can get your tickets online. Early sale, $15. Normal, $20 for front row. If you go get them at the door, it shoots up to $20 for anywhere. $25 front row. Casey, man, thank you so much for coming in, man. Obviously, you gained a new fan in Z, and he's gonna try and check it out. I know if I wasn't working weekends, I would be there because I love all of that shit.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, hope to see, all you guys there. And again, thank you for having me on the show. It's always good to come on and talk wrestling and talk about a wrestling show with wrestling fans.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you again.
Any wrestling shows of winner in my book when one of the most over wrestlers is Invisibill.
yep.
Oh, Invisibill. Yep, Invisibill will be there. US Ape. There's
Oh, US Ape is awesome.
US Ape will be in the place.
Yes.
Is he black?
Oh, come on.
It's US Ape.
Oh, not. He could still be a silverback.
What? Oh, no, man. No. Again, thank you so much for coming in, Casey. If you want to hang out, man, we're going to talk some AEW, stuff like that. Or?
Yeah, I'll sit around for a minute
All
or two
right.
if you'll have me.
Awesome, man. Definitely.
I'll
Love it.
I'll cut at some point, so make sure the camera's not on me when I do.
Oh, it's going to be on you, brother. It's going to be on you, and that's fine to take off. So, AEW, the biggest rally in professional wrestling, happened Tuesday. It happened Tuesday, January 8th in Jacksonville, Florida, where the Young Bucks and Cody, who are the founders of this, came out and debuted their promotion, All Elite Wrestling. A lot of things happened on this that were a surprise to some. Obviously, the wrestling dirt sheets broke some news for people that showed up. But one of the big ones, I don't think anyone even saw. Like, I never saw anything posted about this. But let's get into this. So, obviously, All Elite Wrestling is backed by the Khan family. The Khan family are the ones that own the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And they must have a lot of money to burn. I'll just leave it at that.
Billionaires. They're billionaires.
They own the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah. They are a billionaire company. Now, what really caught everyone off guard is the day of, there were there was a joint press release sent out by Tony Khan and his father, Shad Khan. Shad Khan, nobody knew anything about. Everyone just thought Tony Khan, huge wrestling fan, he was putting money into this. Turns out Shad Khan, his father, who is the majority owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, said he is the principal financial backer for All Elite Wrestling.
So he's the big dick swinging.
And rumors are running about that it's like $100 million
100 mil.
that he is putting into this over a 5-year time period, because that's how long Cody and the Bucks have signed on for. Brandy Rhodes, obviously, as well. They have signed on to All Elite Wrestling for 5 years. It's a 5-year deal that they have. Longest contract, all of them said it's the longest contract that they have ever signed for any wrestling promotion. Obviously, they're running the show here. Bookers are going to be the Young Bucks. Cody is the executive vice president. Brandy is going to be the chief brand officer, which that happened post our show last week. Last week, if you guys were listening, I had a lot of negative shit to say about this. I thought that this is possibly going to destroy how indie wrestling was going to go as soon as WWE was starting to get some real competition in ROH and New Japan by selling out Madison Square Garden the weekend of WrestleMania for a super card. All of a sudden, these guys who were allegedly supposed to be a part of this super card are now gone. You know, anyone who bought tickets may have felt bamboozled. They're going to be stripping people away from Ring of Honor and New Japan to basically thin out the competition now, because New Japan said that they're not working with them. Ring of Honor said they're not working with them. And even more of stuff has come with that this week, and we'll get into that. So let's talk about this rally. This rally kicked off with Conrad coming out, and if you guys have watched something, listened to Something to Wrestle With, Bruce Pritchard, Conrad. Hey, it's Conrad on Twitter. And they were basically introducing everyone. So Cody comes out and the Bucks come out, and they announced that the first thing is there was going to be a Double or Nothing. One of the trademarks that they took out, Double or Nothing, is going to be May 25th, 2019 at the MGM Grand Garden in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Which is a fucking nice, it's a really
18,000 people.
Yep.
Yeah, I've sat in it. It's cute. Yeah, it's legit.
Now, when the Bucks and Cody for All In sold all 10,000 tickets that they had, and they eventually sold 11,000, but they sold 10,000 tickets in 29 minutes, selling out the Sears Center Arena in Chicago. It makes sense that in 29 minutes, obviously people still wanted seats. It's very possible they could have sold another 2,000 or 3,000 online, because even us as a podcast, we were talking about it, was like, yeah, they'll eventually sell out in a couple months. You know, maybe they could do that.
We say a couple, maybe a week or two.
No, man, I thought it would take a month. 29 minutes. So
I didn't think it was going to happen at all selling out.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So when they did that in 29 minutes, it blew a lot of people's minds. They also announced a few signings for them. Britt Baker came out. You know, Brandy comes out, said there's going to be a women's
Adam
division,
Cole's baby?
which was really silly to me, because she's like, people keep asking if we're going to have a women's division. It's like, yeah, but you guys already signed Britt Baker. So, yeah, you better have a women's division.
Well, do you get, like, in the Indies, they do let women go for any title in certain indie promotions.
So, like, okay, I guess you're right there, because ROH literally just got their women's title in division type thing, so that makes sense.
Lucha Underground does it, right?
Lucha Underground, yeah, Lucha Underground, like, Sexy Star won the Lucha Underground World Heavyweight
Super
Championship.
Kick does it, yeah.
Yeah.
Super Kick does it, so does
Shikara
Evolve.
Shikara does it.
Shikara.
So then they also have MJF come out. They have Hangman Page come out, who says he's never won a title. He wants the main title. He wants to be the first AEW champion. To which Pac, better known as to WWE fans as Neville, comes
full
out.
wrestling gear.
Full wrestling gear, comes out. Trunks, boots, everything. No shirt, just out there with his Dragon Gate title going, I've got a title. And says basically he's going to challenge for the All Elite Wrestling Championship. SCU, Christopher Daniels, Frank Kazarian, Scorpio Sky. These guys all parted up. Joey Janela, Penelope Ford. And the finale of this rally, didn't mean to rhyme there, was the one and only Chris Jericho coming out and saying he was all in for All Elite Wrestling. There was a discussion, possibly, he would go with it. After Wrestle Kingdom, Jericho said that he wanted to fight for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. He was the longest reigning IWGP Intercontinental Champion. He should have a shot at Tanahashi at some point.
He's old man. I mean, 48.
So
years
is
old.
Tanahashi.
Is he? Tanahashi's not 48.
Yeah,
is he?
Tanahashi's like
He's
the,
up
No,
Oh,
no,
jeez.
Tanahashi's like 41.
He's
42.
he's still like 40 in his 40s, early 40s.
Right.
now I want to know how old Chris Jericho is.
48.
48.
48.
Is it?
48.
And still putting on the best fucking match on Wrestle Kingdom 13.
Yeah,
I-
I don't really.
yoga.
The age thing, that card is like played out with me. Like, if you can go, you can go. I don't care how old you are.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, watching the Red Wings back in the day, like when Chelios was on the team. Like, every time he touched the puck, it was like, oh, and the 47-year-old Chelios has, like, can't you just say fucking Chelios? Like you have to fucking say his age
if you still
every
got-
fucking time you refer to the guy. Like, it just gets old after a while, you know?
If you still got it, you
no
still
pun
got it.
intended. Yeah, if you can go, you can go. I don't care. what your
When
age is.
my wife walks through the room and says, "Geez, how old is that guy?" Like she knew who Jericho was, which is like, "Geez, how old is he?" How long, Then you know he's old.
Right.
I don't look at Jericho and see an old guy. I mean,
No, I didn't realize
If
he
you
was.
think about it, you've been watching him wrestle for over 2 decades, steady.
But also,
Like,
like,
especially if you followed him, like.
but there are some guys that you look
Three,
at. They
the
just
90s, 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
some
Before
people
that,
just really show their age. And I wouldn't say Jericho is a guy like that.
I would say looks wise, kind of, because I mean, obviously his body's getting a little bit larger and things like that.
Can we
It's-
talk about his emo, cheesy punk look, by the way?
the paint, the face paint again. It's something new, man. It's Jericho changes it up all the fucking time.
And he
I
got
think Jericho put on some of the best matches of his career over the last year or two.
Yeah, when he puts on that paint, man, he gets violent.
Yeah, I will say this: All Elite Wrestling scoring Chris Jericho is their selling point to anyone for a TV deal, because the minute he was announced for Wrestle Kingdom 12, they sold more pre-sale tickets than they've ever sold.
30%
Yeah.
jump.
Then for the pre-sale for Wrestle Kingdom 13 hit 33,000 when it was like 25, 28 the year before.
Yeah, and I think like at the end of the day, they got like 38,000 and some change in there for
Yeah.
Wrestle Kingdom 13, which is I think the biggest.
Yeah.
Biggest
Wrestle
pull they've
Kingdom.
done.
Yeah, last year they beat last year's, which was the biggest was last year.
Yeah, so
So Jericho is your selling point, man.
definitely a draw.
You know, there was a press conference a little bit after where people were asking Brandy and Cody about a TV deal, and they said we're going to be announcing something sooner rather than later. Cody's sending out winking. Basically, there's probably something already done. They just have to have the ink dry on the contracts and stuff. But so let's just go with this list: Jericho, Cody, the Young Bucks, Brandy Rhodes, Britt Baker, Joey Janela, Penelope Ford, Adam Hangman Page, Christopher Daniels, Frank Kazarian, Scorpio Sky, Pac, and MJF is their starting roster. Not even talking about other people that are going.
Well, and that
It's a Ring of Honor show.
and that Chinese company they signed with.
Yeah,
is
they
gonna
signed
be
with a Chinese
their
company.
Cruiserweight division.
Yes,
so to say.
Oriental Wrestling Entertainment (OWE) is the first thing that they're partnering with.
Right now, it's a Channel 20 Ring of Honor show. I mean, that's what all I see, unless they can prove me wrong.
I think Jericho's beyond Channel 20 Ring of Honor. I think Jericho is a major selling point. Cody himself, they had over 100,000 views for the streaming event. They sold out all the Sears Center Arena in 29 minutes. As indie, I put in air quotes, as this is, because it's something that isn't WWE. It is selling more. Though these guys have already sold more than any one of those indie shows have done in the United States since 2001.
See, Mikey, here's what I'm hoping happens, and the best thing for the business is for them. It's what I'm praying for. Is what ECW is always good at, making the mid carders just as over and
As the
just
main
as
eventers?
just as main eventers. Right? They were part of the show. They weren't buried. There's so many mid card WWE guys right now that need a little bit of a kick in the ass, some spotlight. That a lot of like half a dozen of them quit that are getting buried and go there and excel and make them stars. And then they turn around and come back in 5 years.
I think that could work because, like, Cody has his father's mind for the business to a certain degree. And Dusty was really good with working with talent in the main card, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes, I think that's what made NXT to where it is now.
Yeah.
Is the fact that the mind, like, if you have a mind like Dusty and what Cody is right now, you can make the main event in the mid card just as relevant as the other one.
Absolutely.
See, you're right about that with ECW back in the day, and Ring of Honor and New Japan is really good at that right now, making things feel important, making every match on a big show like a pay-per-view feel important. WWE seems to find a way to just make you not care about most of their product.
They
Guys-
focus on a
except for the
handful
top-
of guys.
yeah.
They focus on a handful of guys. So the
And
entire
there's
company.
tons of guys in WWE that I'm a fan of that I just don't care about
They're killing them.
because they just don't. They're not presenting them in a manner that makes me care about them.
Shinsuke Nakamura.
I mean, look what they did
Samoa
to Bobby
Joe.
Roode for crying out loud.
Look what they're doing to Finn Balor.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
Well, we just gave 4 names right there. So let's just leave it at that right now.
I mean, you bring in the Bullet Club, or so supposedly, then you don't put them together, right?
Well, they
Bring
had
in Balor.
They had AJ Gallows
First.
and Anderson for a minute, for a hot minute.
Right, but they didn't even the club. Like, yeah, come on.
They did that just to try to
You
get
can't
Roman
call
over.
him Bullet
Yeah.
Club. You can't call him Bullet Club.
No, I know, but don't even call them that. Then don't even call them anything. Don't call them the club.
I agree with that actually.
So also,
This is teasing my dick. I got hard for no reason.
No, Mikey, can I? Oh,
that's what he does. Just gets hard for no reason.
That's Smitty.
That's not what she said.
all right.
What were you going to say?
Hopeful.
No, I was jumping around. No, keep going.
So, Double or Nothing, May 25th, 2019, MGM Grand Garden, Las Vegas, Nevada. They also said that there's going to be a second big show in Jacksonville. They didn't say a date. They didn't say where, but they did say that I think they said 50% of the ticket sale profits are going to go back to,
When did they give a number?
or maybe he said portion.
He said a large portion of the gate.
A large portion of the gate was going to go to
Victims of gun
violence.
violence, which is odd to me.
Why?
It's a big problem in Jacksonville. So it
Big
makes
problem in
sense.
Jacksonville. It's a big problem around the nation.
I just feel like there's bigger problems than that. I don't know. It just seemed like an odd topic to pick.
Not for my people.
Quite honestly, that's probably like one of the charities that the cans or whatever
That's
are part of. So
Probably
that's
what
they're
it
doing,
is.
right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So again, the second show to be in Jacksonville later this year. Then they made an announcement that kind of boggled me, where they said that they're going to pay performers well, but men and women are going to be paid equally. And in my summation of that, I don't get how that's going to work. Because, let's be honest, there's no way any woman on that card has the drawing power that Jericho has right now.
Nope.
He is the white hot name on that roster.
Well, yeah, but not every
Can't hear you.
man. I'm sorry, not every man on the roster is going to get paid the same. By saying that,
But that's one
men
of-
and women are going to get paid the same. If you're a mid carder, that's a woman, you're probably going to get the same as a mid carder. They're not saying that everyone's not getting Jericho money.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're saying that everyone's getting paid the same, that's what you said, every man and woman are getting paid the same, then my thought process is, are you talking about per appearance? Are you like, hey, we're going to sign you to a full-time contract, here's this. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know if it's just mid-card people, because even
Well,
then...
no, I was just making that as an example. Like, I would imagine that someone that is, if you open the show as a woman, you'd get paid the same as if you open the show as a
man.
Hey, maybe they are giving them all the same salary, and then people get different percentages of their merch or something like that.
Should be.
So they all have the same base salary, and then if you sell merch like the Young Bucks, you're gonna make $100,000, $2,000 a year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are they doing? Because they got their own deals with Hot Pockets, right? So I mean, what are they?
Yeah.
I mean, are they bringing that in house now? Are they
I don't know.
killing that deal?
I don't know if it's they have a deal with Hot Topic or New Japan has a deal.
It's they,
do.
no, the
Oh,
Bucks.
yeah,
It's
they
the Bucks.
They brokered the deal, so
Right, and all of those guys have pro wrestling tees stores, their own,
Yeah.
and are they going to bring it in house? What are they going to do? So
yeah. Whereas WWE pays you a lot more up front, but you only get
Like
3% of your merch or whatever.
if you negotiate it,
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, obviously, if you're John Cena, you're like, fuck you. This is what I want.
right.
But, so, I mean, if you're going to give them a base salary plus, let's say 75% of their merch sales, okay, that makes sense.
Hey, but also the whole equal pay thing is toward this whole pro equality movement thing too. Like women want to be on the same level as men. This is a good way, or at least putting it out there in the public, saying we're going to be that company.
Both that and the gun control charity, like those are both good looks. Those are both good PR moves.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
Again, it's probably tied to that, the foundation or whoever that is, their owners are. I'm sure that's stuff that they are interested in as well. But those are both things that when it makes, big news, when, if ESPN reports on it, maybe they report on it because of that.
My biggest worry about it, honestly, that it becomes Channel 20 Ring of Honor, where the Young Bucks and Cody and Marty Scurll are in the ring at the end, and it's super kick party, and they all do the poses and throw the shit in the ring. We've been there 3 billion times.
Well,
I'm hoping that they bring something fresh, innovative, and don't book themselves as champs for every freaking.
Don't do a Jeff Jarrett.
Right, exactly.
I think those guys are smarter than that.
Yeah.
I like to hope they are.
I think they are. I think they've proven that with their entrepreneurial skills there.
Even if you look at the first All In, they didn't really book themselves like to.
Well,
Everybody won.
they did win.
What are you talking about?
Everybody.
Didn't Paige lose?
Everybody in the elite.
No,
He beat Joey Janela.
Paige beat Janela.
Okay.
Cody beat Aldis.
Yeah.
The Bucks won their tag match.
Kenny won.
Kenny beat Penta.
Hey, you're right.
And that's what was one of my big, we got a little questions on Twitter this week where someone was asking, they're like, Mike, you basically buried this promotion last week. What do you feel about it this week after the rally? And my stance on it really hasn't changed after the rally.
Have you seen the YouTube's got a bunch of? I've been on YouTube hell since I've been on break, and there was like the top 10 stars that they predict to sign with AEW.
Yeah.
One of them being Goldberg.
Yeah, someone was saying
I've
that.
heard that.
That's
Yeah.
a rumor that's been going around before the rally.
Right. Okay.
That's clickbait. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
that's. I mean, I don't have any inside scoop, obviously, but
No, they're talking about a lot of guys quit.
it doesn't
Casey's
make
like,
sense.
fuck that. That's clickbait. Fuck you.
They're almost guaranteed. They were
He's
Gallows
coming to
and
Square
Anderson.
Circle review too.
Oh, no, there's like Gallows Anderson. That contract is up at the, I think in May or something
Right.
like that.
September.
No,
September?
September.
Okay.
You have AJ by the end of the year. It'll be AJ,
The club.
Gallows.
Anderson.
Yeah.
Um,
Shinsuke Nakamura.
No, Nakamura even he came out and actually said that depending on the money, he may re-sign with WWE.
Well, either way, his contract is still up by September of this year. And then you also have, I think Morrow's is up in June. Jim Ross is up after Mania. But then his New Japan contract with Access is up in like July or something like that.
No, it's already done.
No, I read it. It's not up until midway through this year.
Well, he said he's done his last.
Yeah, maybe he fulfilled
voiceover
his contractual obligations, but he's still under contract.
Yeah, so he still can't go anywhere.
Right.
Same thing with Kenny Omega. That's the big talk right now is where's Kenny Omega going? And everyone's like, oh, Kenny might show up at the Royal Rumble if he signs this WWE deal. And it's like, he can't. Kenny Omega is under contract for New Japan until January 31st of this year.
You took the wind out of my sails with my little conspiracy theory that was going around. I think the 434 Club or one of the Facebook groups posted what would be amazing. Number 30 pops up and Kenny goes on the screen. The crowd goes nuts and Dykstra comes out.
That'd be hilarious.
I would cry laughing
Book
if that
it.
happened. Right? I am not going to say that Kenny is not signing for WWE because I will say that the minute that rally happened and then with any of the other stuff that was going on afterwards at the SmackDown tapings and everything like that, any amount of money that WWE was throwing to Kenny Omega to try and get him to sign jumped. Because
Did you see the numbers?
no, it's all speculation.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't. I've heard it was a couple million.
It was 3 to 5 over 5.
Yep.
Holy fucking
3.5
shit!
over 5.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. And now it's
No, wasn't it
3 to 5
3.5
it was
per
year.
Yeah, per year.
It was 3 to 5 million per year.
Over 5 years?
3. Yeah, it was between that
Yeah,
number.
with bonuses and all that.
Right. It could
Bonuses,
escalate.
merch sales.
Yeah.
Which is actually genius. This actually reminds me of the Monday Night Wars, guys.
But WWE is WWE is now WCW.
But that's what WCW did. They threw money at shit.
Yeah.
So why is this the Monday Night Wars to you?
Okay, so the minute, first of all, they had pyro. And they had
Z's got a hard on
and
for
they
pyro.
even had like old school 90s pyro, not even like cool, 2019 pyro.
What is 2019 pyro? I haven't seen it in so long.
I know.
2009 pyro.
It just looked like the 80s when it was on screen.
Right.
Anyways, so they're working with that OWN company, OWE.
Oriental Wrestling Entertainment.
Yes.
Swear to God, they call themselves
Odin?
the Chinese company, and they call themselves Oriental.
Yep.
But okay.
It's just like how WCW promoted the cruiserweights for the first hour for the longest time to showcase them, and it worked. I just feel they might go the same way with that. They took cheap shots at WWE without directly saying WWE or Vince McMahon or Triple H throughout that entire rally. And the best part about it was Jericho talking shit at the end. We're not going to take over the world.
We're taking over.
We're going to take over the universe. And I think that's the minute he got cut from that beginning of SmackDown. But just the way they're bantering back and forth, the way nobody thought Ted Turner was going to turn WCW into what it ended up being for that.
Well, let's be honest. That was,
5-year run.
no, Turner was just a wallet. Bischoff did the work.
And Khan's just the wallet. He's a guy that likes wrestling. He's willing to throw money in it. That's all Ted Turner was too.
Turner was never really into wrestling.
I'm going to say this. AEW is not going to be that type of competition for a little bit of
5
time.
years. Maybe longer.
Well, right now their only contract is for 5 years. I am looking at this as very similar to what Bob was saying. They need to do something different. Yes, bringing in these wrestlers, giving them health insurance. That was another big thing that they said.
Yeah, I
they
saw
have
that.
anyone who's full time gets health insurance. Just like with the stuff that happens in a WWE ring, if you come from an outside wrestling promotion and you get injured in an AEW ring, you are taken care of.
So
but
they have liability
anyone that's full time is going to get actual health insurance.
Full
time.
health benefits,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if Jericho is now getting health insurance because he's
See, now,
signed.
here's the thing: as an employer, a Cadillac Blue Cross plan for an employer costs is $1,100 a month. It's $12,000 a year. Like, how did those guys never like? Why did they not have it?
Because they're built as entertainers. What's crazy
They're
is
built as independent
if you're
contractors.
working,
If they're their own LLC, then I get it. But they're then instead of being employees, yeah.
if you're working in the Stamford offices of World Wrestling Entertainment, you have health insurance. If you're going out there putting your body on the line for World Wrestling Entertainment, you don't have health insurance. That's something that many wrestlers were bringing up last year. Like they're going in, they're getting injured, and then they're screwed for a little bit, and there's no one that can take care of them. Like when Joey Ryan got injured, I don't think it was in a New Japan or
It was on Andy. It was on Andy ring. When
He was fucked.
Fucked up his he rotator cuff. Yeah,
he was fucked. So he just basically had to take care of that himself. He was screwed. Same thing with that, and that's what AEW is trying to get rid of, is giving in the health insurance to wrestlers, which is great. I'm not arguing that. I think a lot of
Joe
these,
Ryan, when he comes back, I think he'll go to AEW.
a lot of these base points I love for this business model, but none of that is going to do anything for the product you put out. And at this moment, when you have so much good product in New Japan, so much good product in Ring of Honor, and I'm sorry, good product in the WWE universe, NXT, SmackDown Live, there are things that WWE is doing right. As much as they're fucking up lately, there's still things that they're doing very well.
If it's the Bucks super kick party, and the guy super kick, it's gonna suck.
Well, see,
Quite frankly, unless they bring in someone or they switch it up or write. So
can't-
who's writing? Bucks are booking?
Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn is
Billy Gunn's a producer.
Okay.
So
See, here's the thing, though. I disagree. You say that all these great things, health insurance and whatnot, that doesn't.
That
affect
draws
your-
people
it
up to the
doesn't
company
affect your
too.
in-ring. I absolutely think it does affect your in-ring. If you have happy workers, you have guys that really believe in your product and what you're doing.
They said that at the
You're gonna
press
get
conference.
better work out of those guys. Like what? They're gonna reinvent Christopher Daniels. Watch. Like
And Chris Hansen is one of those guys that's up there in age too.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
But
God,
they're
yeah.
going to reinvent him, and he's going to be like a top guy there. And who knows? Like a guy like him, any of these guys coming in that have never had health insurance and have never had a company like look out for them at all. Like who knows how that inspires?
It'd also be a hot spot. Like with all this stuff, it's gonna be a hot spot for up and comers as well.
You're going to want to work there. Jericho, he's going to be able to. If there's like a big name coming out of WWE, like he's obviously, I'm sure Cody knows those guys too. Obviously, and they all know each other. But like Jericho working there is like how back in the late '90s, how the Tigers got Pudge Rodriguez, and all of a sudden we had like this main line to all this good Latino
Casey,
talent. Like,
as
same thing.
an entrepreneur, though, I'm looking at it two ways. If you make me an independent contractor and I get to buy my own health insurance, I can also write off my mileage. I can write off my expenses. I can write off my dinner. Right? If I'm an employee at full tax rate, I can't write off shit. Yep. The company does. So there's a cost benefit both ways, right? I might not want to be under their umbrella, right? I want to be able to create my own destiny. So I mean, yeah, it's good. Pro and con on each side.
Yeah, pro con. But my opinion of this is it's increased. I'll admit it. The things that they announced at this rally, I was like, holy shit, that's pretty sweet. Holy shit, that's pretty sweet. There was the equal pay, the insurance, things like that, and yeah, like Casey said, and just like they said, if there's a happy workers, that means it's going to be happy fans, and if the fans are happy, then they're going to come back and want to watch the show. But that doesn't say anything about what you're doing booking it. Because if it's going to be, I know, Bob, you're saying about the super kick party and everything. Well, the bottom line is the people that follow the Bucks love that shit. So that means already the market that they're catering to is going to like watching a super kick party every now and then. But it has to be every now and then. Because if you're booking it like you booked All In, where your guys, the guys running the company, the ones running the show, are putting themselves over a la WCW, it is going to be the end of your company before it even fucking starts.
Yeah, but didn't they have to do that for the first show? Especially
No.
if they didn't know it wasn't going to happen.
Well, your
again.
first show,
That
yeah.
was my thought.
If you don't know that it's going to happen again, and
why not?
I think
we talked about that last week.
that's good for, I don't know.
I'm saying if you went 50-50 with your booking, let's say the Bucks didn't win the main event. Let's say they put over the other three guys, right? They gave them the rub. Let's say Joey Janela was put over by Hangman Page, right? Kenny wins, Cody wins. Cody wins the NWA belt. It was kind of like he has to. This is his father's belt. It's a wonderful story to put together. But if your guys are, I'm sorry, Skrull lost. Marty lost
that's
to
all,
Okada.
And didn't all those guys lose at the Wrestle Kingdom before that? The last
But
Wrestle
that's
Kingdom?
New Japan booking.
It's New
them.
Japan, but understand that's also the last time a lot of people have seen these guys on a pay-per-view event. Like for a lot
This
of
past
worldwide
Wrestle Kingdom that was just Friday, they all lost.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like,
the elite
and I
all
haven't
lost.
Yeah,
watched, I haven't
everyone.
watched this Wrestle Kingdom
But-
yet. I'm going to get to it, but the one before All In didn't like all those guys except for maybe Kenny Omega lost too.
Bucks. Kenny won. He
Kenny
won the
won.
title. The Bucks won
Bucks
the
won the tag
IWG
ti-
heavyweight
IWG.
championship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Skrull still lost again.
But again, I'm saying that's New Japan booking.
it's
I
not
can
on
kind of
page.
play devil's advocate on those wins at All In, though. Like, if you're talking about Cody and Aldis, Cody won on his show, but then he went back and dropped it on Aldis's show. So they basically did each other the favors. Hangman beat Janela, but then Joey Ryan came out, with the Dick Brigade and beat Hangman, basically. So...
Yeah, he got his comeuppance.
And I'm pretty sure that the Bucks really didn't want to win that match, but I think even the team there, like Ray and Bandito, they were like, "No, dude, you guys got to win. This is
Can't
your
end the show with
this
them
is your
losing.
show. You can't end the show without you guys winning." So
Why not?
I'm just telling you that's I'm
Because
telling you that's kind of
you won't get the same pop. From
I'm
your
pretty sure
crowd.
that's kind of how it went. Like when they were trying to book it, and then Kenny's got to beat Penta for that one. That's just
But going forward, you have to remember they're not booking one show. Now they're booking
multiple.
Yeah, so it's not going to be we go over here and here and here. Yeah, when you're booking one show and you don't know if you're going to do another one, everybody goes over it. If you're booking it long term,
But you don't have to have them all get clean pins. You can have heel wins, run-ins, mix it up.
as they did.
Right.
Like he said, he said, when Page won, there was the whole Joey Ryan thing afterwards at All In. There was the whole, like he said, his words, Dick Brigade. He had all the guys dressed as penises, and then Joey Ryan comes out, gives him a dickplex, and just
It was Smitty's
goes
favorite
off.
part of the show.
No.
No, because it wasn't named Marcus. Sorry, dog.
I was waiting for
Bottom
that one.
line is, if you're doing a one-off show and you're bringing, to me, and this is me, and again, I'm much harder of a critic. I'm just as hard of a critic on WWE as I am on this. If you're bringing these people in and you want to say, these guys are really good, and you're one of the people facing them, giving them the proper rub is letting them go over.
You can give them the proper rub without having them go over the match. You can just make them look really good.
Which
all
they
match.
did. They all look good in that match.
I mean, putting
All
someone
6 of
over
them.
doesn't mean you necessarily have to let them get the win.
Well, but at the
True.
same time, if everyone's already winning and you don't do it, it's to me that's just it's selfish booking, and I've seen it before.
But everybody does it.
But,
Especially
that's
on
fine,
smaller indie
and that's fine,
promotions
and
where
that's
the
why
guy-
other people aren't. And that's why even the first time Vince won that title, he dropped it the next fucking day, and then he didn't touch that title again. He booked himself to win some stuff, and then it was done to get everything jump started. Then, unfortunately, now look what you're bitching about with Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon's going to fucking face for the tag titles at Royal Rumble. Anybody fucking happy about
Knock
that?
it off. Knock it off.
No. Anybody fucking happy about that?
I don't care.
You know, my flat, you know.
So that's what I'm saying.
I think
If
it
you don't
bears,
fucking care,
it hurts the Miz more than anything.
if you don't fucking care, and if it doesn't put butts in the seat, and that's what you're doing, is you're constantly putting over yourselves and the owners and the bookers of everything, then how come it's okay when you see it on the indie scenes because it's the Bucks, but you're pissed off at Shane
Well, they've
McMahon?
only
and
done it
Vince?
one show.
The Bucks
It's
can
like-
work,
like you said,
Shane
it's only been
can't.
one- It's only been
But
one show. I mean,
Shane
shit.
and the Miz are going to end up breaking up at Royal Rumble.
Well, that's your
gonna be
Mania
Shane-
matches.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what they're setting up for. So
I
with
think they're gonna give them a Rumble
hindsight being
titles.
2020, right now it looks stupid. But once they turn on each other in the match,
If they turn on
You
each
bury
other.
your own guys by having a suit compete. We talked about this, Mikey.
I
Jason
agree.
Kidd coaches the Knicks. Knicks make it to the NBA championship, and then Kidd's gonna suit up when he's been coaching for 5 years, and he's gonna run with the guys. That ain't, dude. That no, just stop effing wrestling Shane and Triple H and knock it off.
I hate that they give him a spot at Mania and take it away from somebody else.
Exactly.
But it's become a marquee thing, or
He's
what
a
they
draw.
what
It's-
they
he's a
think
draw,
is a
whether you
marquee
like it
thing.
or not. He's a draw.
And that's understandable, but at the same
Shane
time,
is a draw.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
People just wait for him to jump out something.
Kids,
That's it.
kids
Literally,
love
but that's-
Shane
but that's
McMahon.
what people wanna see.
Idiots love Shane McMahon. Like, he throws the weakest punches you ever seen in your
He's
life.
got the worst working
But
punches
it's-
I've ever
it's
seen.
just the
ever.
worst. It's just the worst.
Ever.
A quote from
But-
Leonard
but-
Christopher while he's not here.
Kids and a lot of fans, he's a McMahon, so he gets the McMahon pop, you know. But it's bad.
Yeah, but that's my thing. Is right now you have the bookers wrestling, and I'm worried that that's what it could turn into.
Jeff Jarrett booking.
And again, we've seen it many a times before, and I don't want to see it happen here because with everything, with the foundation that they have laid, I think that this could be in time a very viable competitor to the WWE.
Depends on the TV deal they get.
Depends on the TV deal. Which
100%.
a lot of people are talking TNT, TBS is the rumors floating around.
Because you look at
because of the
Impact's
con-
dead right now. Impact's on a station that Comcast doesn't have.
But Impact,
Impact is getting way better product wise.
Oh, it's amazing now.
but
love-
Demore's killing it.
yeah.
Impact announced at the Homecoming pay-per-view that they are going to, even though they're on the Pursuit channel, every Friday night you can also see them on Twitch at 10
Yeah,
p.m.
they're blowing up Twitch.
So
Is Impact on Fight TV?
no,
Nope.
Pop.
Oh no,
Pop.
I mean,
No, I mean the Fight TV app.
Oh yeah,
You know
they
what
are.
I'm talking about?
They are. Yeah.
They are on that.
but back to AEW. We're going to stop going away from things. If that, and that's my problem. They have a very good basis. I don't want to see this fail because your showrunners run it themselves. That's my worry about this right now.
You got to bring. You got to bring the old retired guy to book that's been around, that knows his shit. Like, to me, that was always the best bookers were the guys that have been around the business and now their knees hurt and they can't go.
Dusty
no more.
Rhodes is
bring in Foley and let him do your booking.
Precisely. Yeah.
Foley's a WWE loyalist at this point.
No, he's not.
Yeah, but he's
on
been
a
he
on a
worked
Legends
everywhere.
Contract. He can go
Yeah.
anywhere he fucking wants to as long as he makes.
I'm
his
just
set.
saying,
as
more-
long as he makes his 8 appearances a year, he can do whatever the fuck he wants to do.
So, Joe, what are you, after watching, you saw the rally and everything, what were your feelings on this?
The rally itself or the company moving forward?
Everything.
The rally itself, I actually thought was kind of lame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, by the end of it, I'm like about done. I'm pretty sick of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, if I have to like see more Jaguars colors or hear about them anymore, like, I might throw up.
Man, I bought you the new Bucks shirt.
Oh man. But yeah, and I don't know. The SCU, like them, whatever their little part of it was, that was pretty unentertaining to me. Also, I like the Joey Janela announcement. MJF was pretty entertaining. I mean, he called Conrad turkey tits. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I like that.
I was
Although
pretty.
He seems like a knockoff Miz. Like I went and
MJF?
Yeah, researched.
No, he's a
it.
knockoff EC3.
Or
It's like a combination.
or a knockoff Eli Drake, maybe.
Okay.
Or a combination of all three. But I mean, with the rally itself, I was actually pretty underwhelmed. Like, I didn't find it that entertaining. But that did not change the opinion that I had last week about the company moving forward. I still have high hopes for this thing. I think it will be successful. And I'm expecting more big announcements and more big signings as they move closer to having their first show.
Think about this. When's the last time you've seen like a press conference and vignettes and introductions and signings, man? That was the best part about wrestling, like coming next week, you know, and you get the old vignettes. Like they just started doing that crap with Lars Sullivan.
I was going to say, they just started doing that with Lars Sullivan.
Yeah, but they don't change the vignettes. So
Yeah,
we've been watching
they've
the same
overkilled it now.
5 vignettes
The same,
for a month
yeah,
now.
yeah.
The same 2 vignettes
on Raw
for a
and
month.
SmackDown. Dude.
When like you remember back in the day, like when
Val Venus.
Mr.
Look at
Perfect
Val
was
Venus.
doing something
Oh, yeah,
different.
different.
Every
Dude,
week.
the
what
Razor
about
Ramon
Holy-
ones.
yeah.
Carlito, dude. Carlitos were awesome, dude. When he was on the beach spitting
Yeah.
apples
Oh, yeah.
at people,
I
dude.
thought the Val
Dan
Venus ones were
Spivey.
pretty cool.
So, who are you hoping for big signings for AEW, Joe?
I don't know if you consider it big, but I'd like to see him get Joey Ryan.
I think he'll be signed with him.
I would like to see Gallows and Anderson go there after their contract is up. It's like,
But do you think they'll go? Because they have this new show on the network.
Yep.
And they're
Botchamania.
they're being seen more on TV.
There's
lately,
only
so.
been one Botchamania episode so far,
The
like
next
the
one-
pilot.
The next one.
Yeah, but honestly, like look at what they did with Edge and Christian. They took them off off for a year, and that's season 2.
Well, I
is
guess you have to wait and see where that goes because they're not doing anything with them in ring. And I mean, look what they've done with a lot of these big indie signings. Like, I mean, them
Buried
guys-
everybody.
Once they get to the main roster, it's
I mean,
fucking
they
over.
Yeah.
sign these guys away so they don't have to compete with them. Then they sit them on the bench or they just book them into oblivion. I mean, they're doing it with Gallows and Anderson.
Apollo
They
Crews.
look what they've done with Finn Balor, Apollo Crews. They haven't really done. They didn't do shit with the Hardys. They won the titles at Mania and then what? Nothing. I mean, they brought the Dudleys back just to shit on them. I mean,
Why is Bray Wyatt buried? I never understood.
I don't know. And I'm not a fan of his, but I still don't know.
No, but they were
Like,
positioning him to be the next Undertaker.
I don't
mythical-
understand that at all. And then they fucking made a joke out of Rusev, and now they're pushing him again. It's like, I just don't understand what they do, like why they sign.
Look at
and I know
Authors of
Rusev's-
Pain.
I know Rusev's not
AOP
like a guy
is
from
great
the
as well,
Indies,
so.
but
Yeah, but they buried him, then they give him the straps, and then
they just take these guys. It seems like they just sign these guys away to not have to compete against, and then I think they do it like out of spite to show like, oh look, these guys weren't. You thought they were hot shit on the Indies. Look, we got them. They ain't shit. You know, like.
Next
I
year,
think-
don't do nothing with him. Like, look
yeah,
at the revival.
but
I'm
ba-
honestly like, okay.
back-
So let's go ahead, Z.
Okay, back to Bob's point, though. If they had vignettes or something building them up for 2 months before they came in, people would actually know who they were, and they might get a better reaction, causing a snowball-like effect. And them
You're
getting
right. I mean,
booked
they
better.
just started doing these vignettes again with this latest group
Right.
of
No, but-
NXT
but I'm
call-ups.
saying if
Just one of
somebody's
them.
being promoted, like Gales and Anderson come in, sweet, that's cool. We know who they are because we do stuff like this. The common fan that is scrolling through TV like, oh, Monday Night Raw is on. They have no idea who the fuck they are. So if you don't do something to introduce them for a little while, so somebody gets a better idea, you're already failing before you've even.
The only two real like experienced workers that they've signed, from the Indies or other companies they've done anything with really is AJ and Kevin Owens really.
Dan and Brian.
Yep.
That took a long time, and that was
What?
against their will.
I'm just saying.
He fought hard for that. He did.
And you know what? He fought hard for this current heel run. And that's going well.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you look at Cesaro. That to me, that
Yeah,
was
there's a perfect
Cesaro
example.
got a new spot. They took
Yeah.
Jericho off and put him in.
Cassius Ohno's another one I think was a great
Yeah.
in-ring hand that
You
just
know,
never
they
did
fuck
jack
with him.
shit
And
with.
if he would
They
stop
fuck with-
eating, he
whatever,
might have
dude.
a
Exactly.
better spot.
They fuck with him because he's overweight. The dude's an amazing worker.
His legs look like cottage cheese.
I don't give a fuck. He's awesome.
that's weird, man. I don't know how they get like that as like a man.
Yeah, fuck that.
Well,
Keith
and-
Lee's a
and they
big
do
dude,
so
and I
much
think
I'm
he's
fat.
amazing.
Okay.
No, I'm fat, and my legs are like I got sexy ass legs. I'm just saying.
Smitty, what was your takeaway, and who do you want to see them sign?
My
besides
takeaway,
Joey Ryan?
I pretty much figured that it was going to be what it was. You're going to announce some guys that you got starting with your company. You're going to get a little preview of what the company. I'm still like, let me see what actually happens. I'm not looking too much into speculation until I see what happens with this. And people I would like to see over there in AEW, because I would like to see them booked correctly. I would love to see Revival go over there and Apollo Crews. So I think they will book those guys better than they are being booked.
They're
in WWE.
both just starting to get a push right now.
What about your boys, the New Day?
WWE loves those guys, and they're some of the biggest merch sellers.
They're merch gods. Yeah.
WWE's not going to do anything with those guys. And maybe it's like,
And they're one of the few people that- and
Killian Dane is another one I may want to see over there in AEW.
How does the Dickens in here?
But New Day is one of the ones that puts on 5-star tag team matches on every pay-per-view that they're on. Everybody gives them shit.
No matter what.
Their
spot they're
match,
into.
their match is always they go.
That's somebody you got to watch. On
Yeah,
WWE.
and you know they might be goofy and pancakes and all that, but they bring it.
They dropped the pancakes at the beginning of the year.
It's gone.
No, they didn't. They said they're going to do what they want. There was an internet rumor they were dropping the pancakes, and then they never dropped them. Z, what was your takeaway from the event, the rally, and who would you like to see them sign, indie or WWE?
It gave me
for any
a lot of
forward.
what they explained from the company so far. Like I was saying earlier, had a lot of similarities with the Monday Night Wars, which is kind of intriguing just to see if WWE takes them as an actual threat and steps their game up. As far as who I'd like to see over there, no one in particular per se. I'm very interested. This is the most interested I've been about a wrestling promotion in a very long time. So just the interest in how it's going to go alone will keep me, trying to stay in the loop with it. But I would like to see more tag teams. It seems like the Bucks right now are the only tag team that is signed.
SCU, SoCal Uncensored, they're like a
They're a trio.
They're a trio.
Right, but I mean, obviously, you're either going to form other tag teams or bring some in. So I think their next couple signings should be something along those lines. Because I mean, if you open a new promotion with only 2 tags in your title picture, you're no different.
Let's say
than
if Kenny
WWE.
signs and Ibushi signs, you got the Golden Lovers.
You're saying. I'm just saying they should target tag teams because you get 2. You get 2 people under like the same contract basically, and then if one of them ends up being a star, you have your next guy to push. So.
Wait a minute. You think if Kenny and Ibushi sign, they're going to put them in the tag division?
I don't think they'll just throw them in. I said they'll
And
throw
that's
them in
why
there
Kenny
as
went to
filler.
WWE.
No, I said they'll throw. My thing is they'll throw them in there as like a filler tag team until they actually build a division.
If WWE throws Kenny, I don't know. Let's say they offer him $1 million more a year. Let's say they offer him 4 to 6 instead of 3 to 5 a year, but also throw in creative control, which
He might get a portion of it.
I'm gonna
He's
tell you
not
this
gonna
right
get
now.
full.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. You never know if it's gonna happen. You can't say because Kenny is a guy that if he goes there, he is another name. He's not the name. He doesn't bring the selling power that Jericho does, but he brings the legitimacy that Jericho doesn't. As far
I
as
have
a
a
wrestler,
conspiracy theory.
He
about
brings
this.
the AJ Styles factor to a certain degree.
what is your conspiracy theory?
I just think that, they're like, all right, you go to WWE for 5 years. We'll do this for 5 years. And again, like the Monday Night Wars, you break up the clique, you send them to 2 different companies. By 2000, they're running both companies, whether it was Triple H and Shawn Michaels or Hall and Nash. So they're probably doing the same thing with Kenny. Plus, Kenny's already a legitimate name on the indies. Now you send him to WWE for 5 years. Now he's even more recognizable in the States, and he's a bigger draw, and then he goes to
which is
AEW.
Yeah. So if they're offering him a 5-year contract, which is what the Bucks and Cody have there, if he has any creative control, I think it is a good idea for him to go to WWE because only thing it could do is build his stock more. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. There's a lot of people going, and I know Joe's one of them, like, dude, WWE can fuck you. It'll make me not care about you. And I agree. I fully agree with that. I'm not arguing that at all. But I promise you, if they're giving him $4 to $6 million a year, even to $3 to $5 million a year, and there's any part of creative control, Vince McMahon is not going, ha 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 ha, I just pissed $4 million this year. No, Kenny is going to be all over that fucking show. He's going to be running top titles. He is going to be in a lot of main events.
More so if Vince is stepping aside to do the XFL thing and Triple H is actually running the day-to-day on.
Please make that happen.
Again,
I agree.
Speculation on
NXT
that.
and 205 are
speculation on
perfect
everything.
examples.
But I'm telling you that if Kenny goes and he gets any part of creative control, it's only good for him.
I agree with that.
That was the part I was shocked at the most. Them giving creative on a like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, they've been so notorious over the years that, they own the copyright, they change your name.
Cody doesn't have his last name.
Right.
Cody has stated that he does have his last name, he just chooses not to use it.
Because he's at the main roster, and you have to either lose your first name or your last name. Is that how it works?
Something like that. I don't know.
Whatever, fuck it.
So
Rusev, like, why can't they call him goddamn Alexander
Rusev.
God, it drives
Big
me
E
nuts.
Langston.
Right.
just easier to say, I guess.
It's not.
We're not retards.
Like, why do they have to change Cesaro's
most
name?
of us.
Like, Claudio
Antonio.
Castagnoli, like, that's a cool-ass wrestling name as it is right there. That
Even
just sounds
Antonio
cool.
Cesaro. Come on, hailing from Stone Mountain, Georgia, Roberts. Like, come on, man. Like,
Hell, I think R-Truth could go with his actual name, and his name is cooler than what they
Rod
give him.
Killings. That was great. Yeah.
Someone asked on Periscope, do we think there's any chance for CM Punk to show up in AEW? Joe?
I brought that up. Oh,
I think there is a chance, and I hope that he doesn't.
See?
I said this before I left the house. I looked at my roommate and I go, now would be the time that WWE brings back Punk. I go,
Punk won't go back there.
I don't think they'll sign him either. I don't know. I thought about that. and I
But
was
it's
like,
amazing.
The way he's hard
Fuck
to work.
CM Punk.
The way he's hard to work with, though. I mean, obviously, I've never worked with him. I don't know. But from the stories we've heard, that him being hard to work with, like, who wants to put up with him? And they're all doing fine without him, so who cares?
But he's so amazing in MMA. Why would he give that up for
Yeah, I
wrestling?
mean, he's such a badass fighter. I mean, he really proved his credibility out there after he left the wrestling business, you know?
And he's not going to come in to just be a jobber, so you're going to have to
I
put
heard
him
talks like he
Whatever,
might...
nigga.
I got a couple weird
I heard
names
like he
that might
might
show
come
up.
in to do commentary.
Oh, I want to hear Bob's opinion.
No, you think they're gonna bring in goddamn I can't think of the stupid name SAWFT Soft.
Oh,
Big
no,
Cass and Enzo.
No, absolutely
You don't think they'll touch them?
No, not... Especially after the two big PR moves that we spoke about earlier that they made with their press conference. That wouldn't be good for PR.
Why wouldn't Enzo be good for PR?
He got exonerated. He didn't.
Yeah,
Get,
the lady said that it never happened.
Still, though, he behaves like
He's
a
a-
misfit.
he's a loudmouth
and he
and
gets
hard to
thrown.
work
He
with.
gets thrown out of arenas.
Apparently, yeah, he's one of those hard to work with guys that the locker room.
He's not going things about. He's not going about things the right way
I
lately.
don't disagree that he, if used correctly as a manager,
when's the last
he'd
time
be
you?
gold.
When's the last time you saw a mic guy like that? Like, dude, he was like that was golden microphone right
Yeah,
there.
I'll
No,
give, and,
Yeah.
but
I disagree. I
but
thought
his mouth is.
He was nowhere-
not only
Double-edged
kept him
sword.
around, but his mouth is what got him in trouble.
he was
Is
no
he's the-
rock on the mic. He was no Stone Cold on the mic. I mean,
He was quick witted though, and all that shit was he didn't write it out. He like came up with it on the fly. That's why like some of the shit was dumb
Shit
as fuck,
talker
but other
Skywalker?
shit was like, oh my god, that's fucking awesome.
You know
He was
what,
like
on-
Little
a
Wayne.
lot of it he did right though. Actually,
You know who I'd really honestly like to see? Those guys on WWE that are stuck on Sunday Night Main Event or whatever. The Kurt Hawkins,
Ryder.
Kurt Hawkins,
the
the
Riders, the
Ty Dillinger.
Dillinger, exactly, the B team that you know are really freaking good, and there's nothing for them. There'll never be anything for them. You know,
I don't want to say there'll never be anything for him, but I will admit that WWE, I don't get it right now.
I don't either. And that's been a thing with them for a long time. Like they
mismanagement of talent.
Well, they sign these guys that are incredibly talented and incredible work, and they
then they
just
don't
do
know what to do with
nothing with them. It's like,
because they
dude,
focus
you
on
are
a handful of
wasting
people.
so much talent.
but you know
here,
what's
like-
gonna here's the thing that might prove true is you look at it. There might be a disconnect between look what Triple H is doing in NXT
And 205 too.
and building up these guys, and then they get up to the big the big show with Vince, and he's like, dude, I don't like that guy. and they freaking destroy them.
Vince don't watch
Finn
NXT.
Balor.
He doesn't.
That is exactly
Yeah.
what happened.
Vince
to
doesn't
Finn
even
Balor.
watch his own product,
Joe.
dude.
That's what are you talking about? Finn Balor was the first ever Universal Champion. Then he got injured. Finn Balor's injury fucked him.
And
not
after that,
Finn Balor, not Vince's.
But how come
opinion
he
on
hasn't
him.
had a legit push since he's been back?
Why does he only
Why?
do 3 moves?
Again, when
He used to be an amazing wrestler, dude, and he only does 3 moves.
that's what anyone does on WWE. Now.
Oh my god, though, Sling Blade. Like I get it, dude. Like I.
But that's it. That name someone
That's
else
what-
that doesn't has a
That's
much
a
a large
complaint that
repertoire.
Rob Van Dam had about the company. He's like, they castrated me. He's like, I had like a million moves, and they made me pick
He said,
5.
He said, I had a vocabulary, but then when I
Yeah,
saw
they made me
WWE,
say dude or whatever.
whatever.
He's like, I can speak, you know? Like, yeah, but I don't know why. They did that with Ray too. Like, Ray could do 3,000 moves. They're like, dude, just pick
How much
4.
do you think he
Guerrero,
got fined
too.
for doing that Canadian Destroyer.
I was wondering. You notice their announcers
We'll
like
get into that later. We'll get into that later.
didn't
We're
even
talking- we're talking
identify
SmackDown
the
Live.
move.
Beautiful maneuver by.
What a maneuver! Did you see that move? Yeah, I'm watching TV. I saw it.
Maybe not. You never know. Oh my God. So AEW, we're all on the plane of we feel like it will do well.
No, we're praying.
I don't think it's
See,
not.
that disappoints me. You said that Ring of Honor and New Japan said they're not going to work with them at all.
New Japan said they wanted to keep their working relationship with Ring of Honor, so they're not going to work with AEW. Then, when Kenny dropped that interview in the Tokyo magazine, that's when New Japan found out that Kenny wasn't re-signing with them. They didn't know that. Now they're kind of backtracking,
Yeah, 'cause-
but that relationship won't be over until after the Madison Square Garden
I will
show.
say if that is not good for business.
Yeah, because last week we were talking about it. Like, if there's
That
no,
was a big thing. That was a big point of our conversation last
Yeah.
week. Like the big part of what's going to make AEW successful, in my opinion, is they have to keep their doors open and working with other companies.
Well, their
and
doors
letting
are
their
open.
talent work with other companies. That's what's brought the resurgence. We spoke about this last week. That's what's brought about this resurgence of the business that
ROH,
we're
New
experiencing
Japan,
right now. Is
CMLL.
companies working together instead of against each other. That's the only way you know these companies are going to compete against Vince. They got to band together as a team.
Yeah, like you see it with places like Impact is working with CMLL. CMLL is also working with Ring of Honor and New Japan. And New Japan, like you say, New Japan's working with Ring of Honor.
And they need to continue that trend, and they need to continue that trend with AEW. Is what I'm saying. Is what I believe.
and as it stands right now, ROH is not working with them.
I hope
New
that
Japan-
changes.
New Japan is not working with
I
them.
hope that changes.
That'll change.
Dude, I'm going to tell you this right now. When you're booking a major show that is going to sell out, that sold out Madison Square Garden, and it's on the heels of you helping them out, and then they disappear on you, oh man, that's a sour taste.
For your
Dude, but
contract,
there's no
though.
reason,
I
though.
mean, here's the thing. I fulfilled my part of my contract. I mean,
I still think they're going to get booked for it.
Ring of Honor and New Japan didn't have to let them have any of those guys. That's
Look-
what I'm saying. It's not like there was a contract for this all in, and it's very possible that Cody and the Bucks, especially if they're letting other people work, could have done something in this show. If literally on the backs of All In, they sold out Madison Square Garden, and a lot of people thought that the Elite, Bullet Club, whatever they were at the time, was going to be a part
Yeah,
of this.
I did-
And if you're
I
backing
said that.
out of it,
That is
yeah,
a bit of a bamboozle.
then you're going, fuck you. I can't trust you. I can be helpful to you. I can give you my talent. You could put fucking Jay Lethal in a major spot, giving him this Black Machismo thing back. And when we need you for something big as well, you aren't there. I don't care if the
You were
contracts
there.
are up
You
or
were the
not.
reason they sold out.
This is what. Why? There's no reason why. Okay, so Ring of Honor and New Japan have been doing for quite a while now. The Global Wars. You know, they send their guys over here. Ring of Honor sends
And World War, whatever.
back and forth, whatever. There's no reason why some guys from New Japan that are over here working with Ring of Honor on a Global Wars tour can't hit a couple AEW shows. I mean, that kind of stuff does happen. Orlando wrestled Kushida at an indie show when Kushida was over here for Global Wars.
And that's the guy who just apparently signed with WWE.
So, I mean, and so why couldn't the Bucks or whoever Cody or Hangman or Kenny if he does sign with AEW. Why couldn't they go over to New Japan for a Wrestle Kingdom, a Tag Wars, a Dominion, the big show, something like that?
I think that's still open.
And in return, like,
I'm not saying they can't.
why can't
I'm saying
some New Japan guys go and wrestle some AEW guys?
Because right now, as it stands, nothing has been worked out for New Japan to work with AEW and Ring of Honor to work with AEW.
I would like-
New Japan has stated that they want to keep their working relationship in order with Ring of Honor, and that's why they're not working with AEW. But hearing Kenny going away is a major loss for New Japan, and they know it. So it's very possible that after, because from
Their biggest
everything that
draws are
everyone's
gone.
saying, everything everyone's saying is their working relationship is done after the Madison Square Garden thing. But do you give up ROH, who is an established company, or do you go with AEW, who seems like they could be a very established company?
I'm over here like, why not both? I would like to
Because of
I'm gonna why not
ROH.
both.
Okay, look, maybe they can still work it out. I mean, maybe they can put aside the hard feelings from the Garden Show thing or from Kenny kind of
Maybe WWE can work with them.
coming out of the woodwork with announcing, and
You can laugh all you want, but that's what's going on right now. ROH feels pissed off. ROH doesn't want to work with AEW because they feel fucking bamboozled, fucked over. Vince McMahon has had somebody fuck him over on national television in WCW by dropping a fucking title into a trash can, to which is why the Mr. McMahon character was created, because he didn't want Brett to win the fucking belt at Survivor Series and possibly show up on Nitro and throw away his title again. Even though Brett said he would drop it the next night, but his contract was done after Survivor Series.
well, he was sure happy about it when Ric Flair brought over the World Championship in '91. Works both ways.
Did he fucking...
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
brought down
No,
New
no. I'm saying, but did he shit on the belt?
No, he did
No,
not.
but he brought it on there.
He brought over and said, "This is the
brought it
real
on their
world
TV.
championship."
But what I'm saying is, when Medusa went to WCW, she threw the fucking title in the trash.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about coming. She goes, I am the WWF Women's Champion, and I want to carry this type of reign all the way to that. Vince would have probably been like, "That's fucked up," but at least she didn't disrespect the belt. Tossing it in the trash is disrespecting the belt and the division. So that's what started that. Now,
Because
if
WWE never disrespected their women's division in the past.
it doesn't matter.
Who was in that division again?
It doesn't
Bull
matter.
Nakano and
You're-
Alundra Blaze. That's it.
So it's okay then for her to do that because WWE didn't treat their women's division.
No,
as
that's
that?
not okay.
But that's what I'm saying then. So if ROH is pissed off at Cody, the Bucks, whomever, let's just say Cody. All right, let's give him one. If Cody's running that place, they don't want to have a working relationship with him. They're not going to have it. And if New Japan wants a working relationship with ROH, they're probably not going to be allowed to go fuck with AEW. We can hope that WWE
I
for
would
some
like to
strange fucking reason does it, or we can hope that ROH for some strange fucking reason does it.
I'd like to think that cooler heads prevail and what's best for business ends up
Well, then
happening,
also they
and
can still
they'll
work with
find a way to
Impact.
work it out.
I would love to see.
It's
Yeah,
Impact is still
and
open too to work
well,
with.
we spoke about this last week too. There is some rumors about like Impact like being absorbed into AEW or like combining or some shit.
in the
That's
Impact
just-
roster-
They did with a global
That's just-
force.
I mean, we talked about that last week too. Like this, if they could put their differences aside over the Garden thing and all this, if all these companies, CMLL, AEW, ROH, New Japan, Impact, if they can find a way to come together, I think that would be like a working version of Jeff Jarrett's vision of Global Force
Let's
Wrestling.
do everyone
you
do
have
an
1800
invasion. Every one of those companies should do an invasion angle.
Yeah, one that actually works.
each other.
Every 6 months, like all the time.
Oh, another one.
Another one showed up, son of a bitch. What are we gonna
You guys
do?
want continuity? Here it is. Every
Right,
6
right.
months we get a fucking raid.
So the thing about like Impact is has a solid roster, and they've been getting really good at this point, and they have a working relationship with CMLL and AAA. So I can see AEW working with those guys, even if they can't work with New Japan or Ring of Honor.
You know
at this
who's
point.
forgotten at this point, and no one talks about him
Lucha
anymore.
Underground?
It's the damn best product going.
Well,
Best
Lu-
presented product on television going is
Lucha-
Lucha Underground.
They might be-
Lucha Underground and CMLL and AAA pretty much.
Right.
Lucha Underground might be approaching the end, like just the end of them period. I don't know if they
They
are
already
going to do another season.
The
A
LA
lot of
deal
the
is up too.
contracts are up.
Yeah,
after
like
season
they
five.
might.
That's such a well presented product on television, man.
I know.
God, it's so good.
I'm behind. I haven't watched the last couple seasons, but I used to watch it religiously. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Is Marty the Moss still champ or under Lucha Underground
I haven't
champion?
watched Lucha in 6
Anyway,
months.
we're going away from your sidecast. I saw what you just did there. You try to make it a fucking Smitty sidecast.
No,
So
I'll
who's doing this? Shut up. All
I
right.
watched Lucha Underground, so
Now,
off.
of course you do, but that's fine. It's fine. You like it. It's a good product. They put out good stuff. Now, from AEW going into WWE.
Do we have?
WWE, after the AEW event, again, SmackDown was in Jacksonville. All Elite Wrestling's rally was in Jacksonville. People who had on All Elite Wrestling shirts, memorabilia, towels, were being told by security when they walked up to purchase a ticket for SmackDown that security walked up and said, WWE doesn't want this merchandise in here.
Is that true, or is that just
Hold on.
internet hype?
Nope, not internet
It
hype.
happened to a lot of people.
So it started going viral, and then
like
all
illegal.
of a sudden, it came out that it was Pro Wrestling Tees employees who had the shirts. So then Pro Wrestling Tees was like, "Yep, this is exactly 100% true. These are our guys. These are our employees that are being told that they couldn't go." Eventually, WWE redacted because it started going a little bit viral, and people were allowed to purchase tickets and go in. Like security, even to the point where they told them, don't let them purchase a ticket until they change their shirt. Not flip it inside out, change their shirt.
Dude, what is this? School? That's like fucking illegal. You can't.
It's not illegal.
It's not illegal.
You can't.
I can go to a Red Wings game and wear a Dallas Stars shirt.
Yeah, and they can't tell you not to buy a ticket.
But you can't go and wear a shirt that says "fuck" on it.
AEW
Yeah, I
doesn't
could.
say fuck
No, you
on
can't.
it.
You will be
No, you
told.
can't.
You can't
'Cause
have.
I have a
profan-
shirt. I have a shirt that says Detroit is fuck, and they won't let me go inside.
Yeah, and
inside
that's
Joe Louis.
what they
AEW
choose.
shirts don't say fuck on
Yeah, I
them.
was gonna say.
Doesn't
I
matter.
mean, that's the word "fuck," though.
But doesn't matter if you pick what you want. It doesn't matter if it's the word "fuck" or not. If that fucking company says we don't want that shit in here, they can't bring that in.
Yeah,
here.
so
It's the
about-
same reason they
That's
take
such an-
fucking signs.
that's such
I
an
agree. It's petty as
old
fuck.
school mentality. They need to stop
actually,
that, dude.
You're right.
It's
the
making them
company
look
has
bad.
the right to say what you can and cannot wear to their event.
Yeah,
Where they're wrong is changing it 5 minutes before the event starts.
It's just like when they tried to block Ring of Honor and New Japan from getting the Garden Show, and they had to fucking go back on
And
that.
Vince was probably pissed off.
Like
'cause
they
all
just
did
need to
was take
stop
cheap
that shit
shots.
already. It's just making.
But if you look at the
bad.
crowd at NXT, half that crowd's got Bullet Club
Yeah,
shirts
for-
on.
Yep. Well, because NXT is targeted for like the fan like us.
Right.
I will say that I 100% agree. That is the most petty fucking thing in the world.
It only makes one person or one company look bad.
But
That's
it makes,
WWE.
But it gives Cody and them
Yeah, that's
more
positive.
more
Fuel to the
spotlight.
fire.
So
That's just yeah.
Now here's the thing: like, you go watch a late '90s Raw right now. There's 15,000 people in the stands. There's 10,000 people have signs.
Yeah.
Like today, I don't know if they're cutting it back or if people just aren't bringing
they
them.
confiscate
They
signs all the
confiscate signs at
time.
the door.
But I mean, everyone had a freaking sign up. It's like no one cares now, or is I'm just wondering.
We went to Raw and there was a few signs, more so on like the hard cam side. Like everywhere else, it's
Right.
kind of like sporadic. On the hard cam sign, there's definitely like a whole section of signs. But beyond that, no, it's not like it used to be. Like I remember going to a Raw when I was little, and there was like 4 different signs. I had, Jake the Snake's
Can't
coming
even
out,
see
right?
the ring,
Yeah,
yeah.
I got to like swap out my sign or turn it around for somebody else. And
Dude, I had the greatest. I'm gonna sidecast him. I had the greatest sign ever. It totally fucked with CM Punk. It was awesome.
We were front row SmackDown when that was Kurt Angle when he was drinking the milk all the time, and we had milk gives me gas, and we like literally held the thing up the entire match, and he finally gave us a Me Too thing, and we're like, felt yeah.
All right, this is just take
validated.
Go ahead.
10 seconds. This is hilarious. Me and my buddy went to a WWECW house show. You get what I'm saying here? In Saginaw, right? It was when CM Punk first started with the company. We were not
Was
fans.
was a zombie there?
No, I think
This is when they're
who was
pushing
the,
Lashley to
who
the
was the
moon.
vampire guy? He was there.
Vampiro.
Oh no!
No.
Kevin. It was
Thorne, Kevin Thorne.
Yeah,
and he used
Kevin
to be
Thorne.
someone else before that.
It was Kevin Thorne. That was in WWE.
Anyway.
Mordecai?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he was not more.
Yes, he was. Kevin Thorne was Mordecai.
Yeah. Before he was Mordecai.
Okay,
when they
so yeah,
repackaged,
Kevin Thorne
yes.
was there. CM Punk was there. Tommy Dreamer was there. Tess
Yeah.
was there. It was
That's
RVD
when they
was
pushed-
there. Anyway, I had a sign. I was not a fan of CM Punk back then either. I had a sign for CM Punk that said, what did it say? It said, CM Punk, or it said CM Punk, CM Push, see me puke. And he saw the sign, because, I mean, we were sitting close. There was only like 100 people there. He saw the sign, and he just looked at me. He's like, really, dude? And I was like, yeah, motherfucker, really. He was like, damn. I was like, it is what it is, bro.
All right.
It was great.
So, obviously, WWE tried to stop people from coming into SmackDown Live originally with the AEW merchandise. We agree. Incredibly petty.
Ray J. Petty.
Ray J. Petty.
I hit it first. You never heard it. Okay, never mind. That flew over your
He's
head.
talking about Kardashian.
Oh, yeah. Okay, whatever.
Nobody gives a fuck.
But other than that, SmackDown Live as a show, I thought was standout really good. It opened complete.
Raw was good too.
That's because you're stupid.
It opened a completely
Raw
different.
had good parts.
It opened a completely different way than normal, with Daniel Bryan kicking off a promo on the. Started with a promo, but this time it wasn't in the middle of the ring. It was out of the concession stand. Ended up throwing a hot dog at a guy, tossing a fucking Coke on pop on another person, which is really funny if you think about it, because when Daniel Bryan first came in, they made him chug pop, a guy that doesn't drink pop, and now he's tossing a fucking pop. Soda, for anyone who's watching from a different area, listening to a different area, all over a fan. He then went down and was ambushed by R-Truth because they had a match coming up, to which then R-Truth and Daniel Bryan had a match.
Dude, that was pretty sweet, actually.
Daniel Bryan defeating R-Truth. After that, Andrade Cien, Almas, and Samoa Joe took on Rey Mysterio and Mustafa Ali, and Almas got the pin over Rey Mysterio.
We saw a PD driver.
And the Canadian, yeah.
It's a PD driver. It's not a Canadian destroyer. It's called a
Whatever,
PD driver.
And he did it so well too.
Rusev comes out and he starts cutting a promo about how Lana was injured the week before and he blamed Shinsuke. Shinsuke then blindsided Rusev. After that, the Usos took on the Bar, and if the Usos won, they had a shot at the tag titles, which the Usos lost because Mandy Rose came out in a towel asking if she left her small gold shirt and her tiny gold shorts in Usos' locker room.
Hotel room.
Wherever the fuck. Either way, she was allegedly naked. Cut back to the backstage area. She takes off the towel. She's fully clothed. Boo. Naomi then kicks her ass. And then she starts... It was a weird little spot because it seemed like Naomi should have started to get her ass beat, but she was still fighting
Yeah,
back.
that was no sell for Sonya Deville's offense at all.
Like whatsoever. And then DeVille nailed her in the gut for real. And then all of a sudden, Naomi dropped. So then out comes Jay. Is she married to Jay?
Yeah, Jay.
Jimmy.
She's married to Jimmy. I don't know.
Oh, she married little Jimmy. Okay.
Is his name Jay in real life, though? Is that why I'm getting confused? I don't know.
Fuck.
So
Whatever.
anyway,
They both got
basically he
J's.
comes out and he breaks it up. After that, also in the ring, Miz comes out and challenges the Bar to a tag team title match at Royal Rumble. Him and Shane McMahon versus the Bar. Cesaro goes, you want us to take on an untested, unput together team with no type of dynamic type of offense?
With daddy issues.
Yeah, with daddy issues. And then Sheamus bro kicks Miz, and they go, we accept. After that was a triple threat match. Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Carmella. The winner becomes the number one contender for the SmackDown Women's Championship and to face Asuka at Royal Rumble. Becky Lynch wins that after a spectacular match. Now, SmackDown, top to bottom. Good show for you, Joe?
Yeah.
Smitty?
I enjoyed it.
Z?
Yeah.
Top to bottom.
I like how we just skipped over Raw completely.
No, we're going back to Raw
okay.
because we're not with the AEW led into SmackDown. We flow here, guys. We flow.
Oh yeah, this is Jacksonville.
Flow.
And I didn't want a diarrhea yet.
What? Okay. Bob, did you catch any of SmackDown?
It's on my DVR.
Is that-
Yeah. No, I usually
I'll
watch
get
everything.
to it.
I usually watch everything on like Saturday morning. I'll blow through like the 5 shows that are sitting on there, 6
That's what I used
shows.
to do as a kid. You watch WWE Superstars, give you the whole breakdown for the
Absolutely.
week.
Yeah, yeah,
Really
exactly.
good, though.
I don't have to watch anything anymore. What stood out for you, Joe, about SmackDown?
Daniel Bryan,
Yeah.
the opening in the concession stand. He is doing his heel work right now is fucking awesome.
It's pure heel too.
And I love it because it comes from a place, of something that he truly does believe in. And as much as I dog CM Punk, I'll kind of use him as an example here on the positive note. Like when CM Punk would go from like heel to baby, like when he was, everyone knows that he's straight edge. When he's a baby face, it was never really an issue. He never brought it up. But when he was like a heel, he would just turn up that straight edge so much and just be that guy, that straight edge guy that hates everybody that smokes and drinks and yada, yada, yada.
Means I am better
So,
than
like,
you.
Daniel Bryan is kind of doing something similar to that with, like, the earth-friendly stuff, and it's just it's working.
The best part of all that is when he was leaving, after he got beat up by AJ and he was leaving, he had mustard all over his shirt and shit.
Yeah, that was great.
Evil Captain Planet.
Can I,
and then not
on
to
a
me-
side note, real quick, just that they had fans bring their weapons one time at the Ritz for the XI show, and I threw in the ring 2 bottles of ketchup, and so the one guy actually like doused the other guy with ketchup. And another time they did it, same thing. This lady that was on the front row said, like, the last 2 times you did fans bring their weapons and you put ketchup in the ring, like, I've got destroyed my shirt. You just killed. So this little kid would always come up to me for like the next year. He's like, Devon, get the ketchup. So, like,
Nice.
You Priscilla killing somebody.
Z, what were your feelings on SmackDown? I mean, what was your favorite thing about it? Same thing, Daniel Bryan. Anything else stand out?
No, that was it.
Smitty, what about you? Because I know you have something.
Yeah, both tag matches on the show. They both were really solid. And seeing Almost actually pick up a win was good. And just some of the spots in there, like you mentioned, the Canadian Destroyer, that Ray hit, and everything in between there. It was just, like, SmackDown match-wise was just solid from beginning to end, match-wise, promo-wise, and everything else.
So bringing up the Canadian Destroyer, the PD driver, there going to be some trouble for that because
They're not allowed to do that.
that pile driver is only allowed by
But
the
then, I mean,
Undertaker when he does a
It's
tombstone.
Ray doing it.
Yeah. So
What are
Ray
they going to tell
did it.
Ray? I
Yeah.
mean, he's Ray. What are they going to say to
I
him?
think Ray's going to get away with it just because
Yeah, I mean,
he's
he's
Ray.
got a little bit of pull, I would imagine.
I was in the moment. My bad. I won't do
yeah.
it again.
Dude, I mean, but that thing
Because
looks
they do shit like
so
that all the
pretty.
time
And
on
Almas.
live shows, but they just can't do it on TV.
Yeah.
I almost sold the shit out
Dude,
of
that
it, too.
that thing was gorgeous. That,
Yeah, it was.
That was a
You
thing.
could even,
that was a
it
work
was
of
so
art.
good. They even slowed it down, and it. You know how like when something's kind of good and they slow it down to a point, and then like the last couple seconds is like real fast.
Yeah.
They slowed it all the way down. You can see like Ray land on his butt before Almas's head touches the mat and everything. Like it was just perfectly executed.
Side note on SmackDown, dude, does R-Truth age at all? Like
No.
that
Black
guy-
don't crack, nigga.
Dude, he's fucking amazing.
Smitty's aged more in 5 years than R-Truth has.
Shit,
But
you look
Smitty does a lot more drugs.
You look cracked as fuck right now, dog.
It's the
Are you
beard.
sure about that?
It's the beard.
No, dude, this guy R-Truth is amazing. That's all I'll say.
that match.
He
But
can-
also the R-Truth thing, well, the Christmas episode, Brian attacked
Truthy
Truth.
Claus.
So let me. So you really like that match, Joe?
Yeah.
How long do you think that match was?
Fuck you. I don't know. 7 minutes.
You know what? I honestly don't know. I don't know. I will say that I would like someone to find that out, whatever the match time was for R-Truth and
It was
Daniel
under
Bryan.
10.
But it was, that shit was under 7. I think it was one segment.
I said it was under 10. That's all I'm saying.
I think it was just really funny when I saw that. I was like, wow, that was really good. I hope Joe thinks that was really good because just last week we were talking about how Joe said nobody can put on a good match under a certain amount of time. And I'm pretty sure this is under that certain amount of time.
All right. Well, these are 2 great workers, all right?
But it goes back to Shinsuke. Shinsuke sucks.
No.
I don't think he sucks.
I think Shinsuke
I think
is
he's a character.
nowhere.
He's a character type worker. He may need more time.
Shinsuke is not. Right. What?
All right.
How long do you think the match was, John?
I don't know. 6 minutes, 7 minutes?
Keep going down.
No, 5?
Keep going down.
Was it a 4-minute match?
Under 3.
Holy shit!
How's that possible? Because they cut to a commercial like in the beginning of the match. After Truth attacked him, they cut to a break, and they came back to the match already in progress.
On YouTube, and it's 2.5 minutes.
But is it?
So
it might
include
not be-
commercial.
hold on,
Include
hold on,
commercial.
hold on.
You may have 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Hold on.
You say they cut to commercial.
Just like go type in R-Truth Daniel Bryan match time into Google, dude.
So yeah, say including commercial, you probably got what, maybe 4 minutes out of it.
I wish there was is there a website where you can go look at matches and the time, the duration?
I don't know.
Do you know
Possibly.
about that, Bob? No, me neither.
There's never been a time in my life where I'm like, how long was that match? This is new.
This is-
frontier
It's just
for
because
me.
we were talking about last week.
So catching anyone up who's
Mostly,
who
I
hasn't
just like
listened, yeah.
Truth's intensity during the whole thing too.
We were talking
2.5
about
minutes.
we were talking about Shinsuke Nakamura,
an intense
and I
2.5.
said,
I do stuff intensely for 2.5 minutes too.
and then basically
That's giving
I
yourself
stated
too
that
much credit.
Shinsuke Nakamura is an overrated wrestler. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm saying he's overrated. In New Japan, he had a bunch of time. He was doing great, knocking things out. When he came to WWE, he needed at least a 15, 20-minute match before it was even good. He had all of those in NXT. When he went up to the main roster, the reason that he's shit or not getting as big of a push, one, there's part of the promo problem. They should have made Shinsuke talk. But two, the man can't fucking wrestle a WWE timed match.
NXT is Japanese style. If you kind of look at it,
And even in NXT, he was going 20-minute matches.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn. So when he doesn't have the amount of time to get out his full repertoire,
NXT he put out legendary shit.
Yeah.
But I think it's more of he's a character worker. He's not like a style. Like he doesn't like work.
And it
You
came
can't
down-
call him a character worker because he's still character workers tend to not be on the athletic side. They're a character. He's definitely athletic and can do a lot of different things.
I'm still
in the ring.
fanboy. I dig him.
I'm not.
Me-
But I'm
me
saying
too.
is he's.
I still want to see more out
2
of him
minutes and
in
30
WWE.
seconds. That's no BS. This one's 4-minute clip, and it's with Daniel winning, taking the belt, and walking all the way up the ramp
Okay.
and everything. So it starts when it comes back.
So a
from
2.5-minute match put on by two guys who we've all thought R-Truth could go. There's a reason he held the title when he went over to TNA and things like that. But
Yeah, I think he's just. I think he's just complacent in his role.
and
he's happy.
and that's fine. He's fine exactly.
I don't think
where
he
he's
wants
at.
to
Isn't
be.
he
I don't
50?
think he wants to be anymore. He's pushing 50. Yeah, I don't think he wants to be
I
any
think
more
he
than
is
what
50
he is.
actually.
He might be. I think he's close.
So bottom line is, I would love. I don't. We were trying to figure out if it was WWE or the performer that were killing them as far as some of these pushes, because we were just like last week we were talking about it. It was the simple things of sometimes it's performer, sometimes it's WWE. In Shinsuke, I think it's a thing of WWE's like, we can't push you because the more we do, the more we kind of realize how weak you are in the ring in our environment. Now, you put him back in NXT, Shinsuke will fucking run the gauntlet. And I will love it. You put him in New Japan or anywhere else where you're going to give him all this time, especially in any outside where he can have the true, strong, violent style he was in New Japan, he'll flourish, dude.
I think that's another thing with Shinsuke. Not just the time, but I don't think he knows where he stands with what he can do in the ring, and I think there may be a little bit lost in translation there, like what he's allowed to do. Like,
Well,
I think
Funaki, the #1 translator on SmackDown Live, should be fucking helping him
No,
out.
what I mean is, I don't think he
Choppy
knows.
your pee-pee.
I don't think he knows.
So you watch the Edge and Christian show?
I think he's
I
afraid
saw that
to
live.
bring on his full
I remember that
level of
physically now,
violence.
yeah.
I think he's afraid to bring on like his true like how the king to
I
get
don't-
too stiff. I think he's afraid to be the true king of strong style. I think he's like kind of like walking around on eggshells,
I don't
not
think he's
knowing.
allowed to bring that, though.
And I think that you can see that in his work. Like,
And that's fine, and I agree. But again,
so what I'm
he's
saying
in-
is, it might be more than just time. I think it's also like what he's allowed to bring and not.
But if you're good, if I want to think that you're one of the top wrestlers in the world, and I say wrestler, not promo guy, not entertainment guy, top wrestler in the world, you can do stuff like that. Daniel Bryan and R-Truth, 2.5 minutes, a match that everyone was like, holy shit, that was a good match. Even though it was only 2.5 minutes. We're not saying 5-star, 7-star, 12.5 fucking stars, Meltzer. We are saying it's a good match.
What mostly impressed me about it was Truth and his intensity and like, hey man, this guy's still got it.
Now, what about the triple threat women's match? Started getting this is awesome chants. It's Carmella. It was Charlotte. It was Becky. Again, just like we saw the last time, when Charlotte won the belt from Carmella. What did this one sit with you, Smitty?
I saw NXT Triple Threats women's match right there, like on SmackDown. That's what I felt. It was really, really well put together, and it flowed very well. Carmella played her part, and Becky and Charlotte played their part, and it literally felt like I was watching the NXT women's match.
I almost died for Charlotte when she missed the moonsault to the outside and she fell and hit her ass. I was like, oh, please don't be hurt. Please don't be hurt. Please don't be hurt. Obviously, she wasn't. But one of those spots where you're like, when it misses, oh. What did you feel about that, Z?
What are we talking about? Triple threat match?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was looking up R-Truth's age.
46.
I know. Thanks, Smitty.
Don't crack.
Yeah, I wish I was black. I wouldn't age either.
I would look like this till I'm 50.
No, the match was really good. I expected Becky to win, so it wasn't really a surprise there. But they did very well. It was one of the better women's triple threat matches I've seen this year. But yeah.
It's the only women's triple threat match you've seen this year.
That was my point. Thanks, Smitty. Thanks for pointing that out. No, but normally what happens if you throw like a girl like Carmella in a match with like Charlotte or Becky, it's normally like Carmella that's running around like you need to be, you're in a triple threat, like you need to be here now, like, and they mess up spots. But they did a very good job, and I think actually as a performer, Carmella's come a long way.
I thought Carmella looked great in that match.
Yeah, though, and that's my point. I think she's come a long way. So they put together a really good match, especially for the main event, and I had no problems with it.
Were you surprised Carmella looked that good, Joe?
No, I agree with Z. And I was really critical of her, as you know.
Yeah.
When she was in NXT and first came up to the main roster, which I thought was too early. But I agree with Z. She's come a long way on both ends. She can definitely hold her own on the microphone, and her in-ring work is like miles ahead of where it was just maybe even like a year or two ago.
I 100% agree with that. I think when I was watching that match, I specifically just sat back and enjoyed it to the point where I wasn't. I obviously when we watch matches, you know, it's a little bit different.
We're watching with the analytical eye.
Yeah, and I literally eventually just sat back and said, "I'm just gonna fucking take this in and enjoy it," because that's exactly what it was. They took me away from the analytical eye. They made me watch and just feel like a kid again when you're watching wrestling.
You know, and that shouldn't be that surprising because Carmella's dad was actually like a job guy in the WWE back in the 80s and 90s.
But again, and I'm not, and I guess I don't want to take it because even I still had an analytical eye when I was watching Becky and Charlotte matches. You know what I'm saying? So it like the last woman
the way
standing.
they built Becky and Charlotte, like you expect them to have a 5-star match like you would if two of your top men were in the ring together. You know what I mean? So
I thought Carmella wrestled that match like she had something to prove.
Yeah, no, and she did. For real, she did, because she's the one person that I kept an eye on that entire match, and she didn't disappoint me one time.
Hit her spots. I didn't see any type of
maybe that
awkward
moonsault you
botches.
mentioned might have been a little on her. I don't know. Maybe someone was supposed to take that, or
I don't think so.
No, I think she was supposed to miss that one.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
It's not like
then
Nia.
it was
it's
just
not
a
like
real
that Nia
weird
Sasha.
bad landing. Then.
Yeah, like maybe she maybe she overturned it or something like
Yeah,
that.
well, you don't want a pancake on the floor.
Yeah, of course. So, that being said, let's talk future. WrestleMania main event. A lot of people were talking Becky Ronda. Well, now Ronda, coming from Raw, which we'll get into in a second, is going to be taking on Sasha Banks at the Royal Rumble for the Raw Women's Championship.
That was weird.
Fucking Becky is going to be fighting Asuka for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Is there still a way to get to Becky Ronda WrestleMania?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, Z, book it. You're first.
Oh, I get to book it?
Yeah.
Well, the easy booking here is Ronda goes on first. She wins her match, and then Becky has her match against Asuka. She's about to win. Ronda comes up and interrupts the match again, and you can set them up that way. Or you can do the flip. Becky interferes in Ronda's match, making Ronda drop the title. But earlier that night, Becky won it. Ronda now goes into the Royal Rumble, wins it. Now she gets to pick Becky as her opponent. I mean, you can still get there. There's many ways to get there.
Okay. Joe, book it.
Dude, you don't even need to find a road, really. You could just announce it. They've got unfinished business. I mean, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, these are cards that are dual branded.
All of them are dual branded.
So really they don't even need, they could just book it. There's already heat, there's already an angle, there's already a story. They could just fucking make the match, honestly.
So there's nothing to book.
They were going to do the match.
I mean,
think they pulled back on it to do it strictly at WrestleMania.
They could like make a fancy little story with it, like what Z said. But honestly, you could just go into it without doing that. I think the story's already there.
All right. Smitty.
But you know they're going to put a
Like I would say, you still pull an unfinished business angle. Like literally, they could both like Becky. Like unless you like, I would hate to see Asuka as the transitional champion.
She is though.
Yeah, but because I still think they're going to go ahead and do that triple threat Charlotte, Becky, and Ronda deal at Mania. And I see interference in both matches. I see Ronda possibly interfering with say Ronda interfering with Becky, and then both Charlotte and Becky interfering with Ronda, and like Ronda will drop the title to Sasha or whatever, and I can set up for a triple threat.
I
do not want to see a triple threat at Mania.
I think the only way you're going to get them as the final match is going to be a triple threat. And I believe Ronda's going to drop the title at because the other thing is if you give her the Rumble win after dropping the Raw Women's title, that puts her to SmackDown. You got it. She has to take a loss. It can be a very flaky loss. Charlotte causes it instead of Becky.
What the hell's the main event at Mania?
There's a lot of talk that the women are going to close the show.
Because there's not. Because if you look at what the hell's it going to be from the guy's side?
There's rumor that
Lesnar,
AJ
Strowman,
Daniel Bryan and Finn Balor.
This is a rumor that
That's not gonna
AJ may
main
be
event
taking
Mania.
Taker may be doing his last run, his last Mania ever
Fuck
with AJ.
Taker, go the fuck away.
Yeah,
God.
seriously.
Take out Taker, take out Shane.
stop already.
You got 2 new spots for somebody else.
Well, no, they said there's a rumor around saying this may be Taker's real last run against AJ.
Come on.
That or
nobody wants to see
Say
that.
that or
dude.
AJ's going to be going against Orton.
That's probably more likely.
Nah, AJ Kenny.
No, AJ should beat The Undertaker with a tombstone.
The Rock's going to have a match, or Batista's going to have. It's going to happen.
Batista just booked another movie, so it's kind of the removing him from it around the shooting schedule
who's
for
Cena
it.
gonna face?
The Rock, though, while it's possible, doesn't. It looked like that was going to be the person who took it off of Roman, or
For the Saudi
Brock.
Arabia deal?
Yeah, or now Brock. So again, maybe, but at the same time, if we're talking outside of what Raw did this week, and we'll get into that in a second.
I want to throw up.
Outside of what Raw did this week, WWE has been promising a change. Thanks. What?
I said I got to go.
Oh, well, you have a good one, brother.
Yeah, you guys have a good night. Thanks
Thank
for
you
having
so
me
much for having
Yeah,
being
yeah.
on, man. So if they finally actually do this change, my first thought process was Becky should have won the Women's Rumble. Obviously, it still could happen. More than likely, won't anymore. Balor taking the Men's Rumble, moving over to SmackDown to face Daniel Bryan, right? Sets up maybe Seth going against Brock at Mania, which is a major talk right now. Him winning a #1 contendership at the Elimination Chamber. Now, that being said, if we're trying to get to the women to close out WrestleMania, Ronda is a very major part in this, right? Becky's white hotness is also a very major part in this. But Charlotte has been involved in everything.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a triple threat.
I also don't really give a shit if it's a triple threat. I don't want to see a triple threat. But if you're going to close out Mania with those 3 women, I'd be all right with it.
It's like in this, like Charlotte's she's still a highlight for any women's match. Still,
I think those 3 could put on. We could finally watch a Mania where at the end of it we were like, "Holy fuck, that was an amazing match to close this shit." I fully agree with that, even if it's just Becky and Ronda. But adding Charlotte, I think it would do just the same thing. I feel like Charlotte will be given a major spot. She is technically still the chosen one, right? Now, at the same time,
maybe Charlotte wins and faces.
It's also very possible that post that, Charlotte takes the loss. Becky keeps the title because if Ronda wins, she wants to face Becky for the title. If Becky keeps the title by pinning Charlotte, post WrestleMania, superstar shakeup, Charlotte goes away. Like you might see Ronda versus Charlotte for something, in like Charlotte goes, no, I didn't lose. Like let's say she pins Asuka, right? No, like let's say. So Charlotte has a claim too for that belt, right? Mm-hmm. That fucking thing was pushed. She never lost. She was fucked. So Ronda's like, and Ronda's like, well, I won the fucking title, but there's not a rematch. That's not a rematch. She didn't have the belt. Ronda's like, well, I won the Royal Rumble. She's like, well, I want to face you for it. Screw your fucking finish. Somewhere down the line, both of them now go face Becky, right? Charlotte takes the loss, getting her out of that completely. Superstar shakeup. She goes to Raw. Now you have Ronda on SmackDown where Fox wants her, but in a way because we bitched about this before, if the money is changing storylines and it's just making shit stupid, it fucking blows. We don't want to see that. That actually works as a storyline. Something I'd be all right with.
There's a lot of shit that actually works as a storyline. They just don't do it.
I have a little dark horse pick for the women's Rumble.
Someone says Z needs a nap.
Yes, he does need a fucking nap.
Z just woke up before coming here.
Yeah, well, I wake up and then I go nap. That's what I do.
We'll worry about your dark horse when we're talking about it later. Let's move on to Z's second favorite show of the week, Monday Night Raw. Why did you like this?
I didn't see a problem with it. Okay, what didn't you like about it?
Everything.
Everything but one thing, and that's the one thing I probably shouldn't have liked.
Wow, this is...
Yes, that was out. I agree. There was. All right. Cena declares he's going into the Men's Royal Rumble.
It starts with the brawl between Rollins and Lashley.
Yeah, Rollins and Lashley, starting with the brawl there. Cena declares that he's going into the Royal Rumble. Then Drew McIntyre comes out and he's like, "Oh no, I am Scottish.
I'm going to the Royal Rumble.
And I'm going to tell
I'm Drew McIntyre.
I'm going to tell you everything
like from The Simpsons.
that everybody has always said from you. WWE has said they want to change putting out the same product over and over again. And what does their baby boy face John do? Say that Drew McIntyre has stated nothing different than anyone has ever said to him. Okay, but you're still burying your product now. Well, then... I think he starts getting into him.
Calls him a goat.
There's still that Lashley comes up and he's like, we want a lawyer.
Leo Rush, yeah.
Leo Rush. Lashley, lawyer. Right?
I love how annoying Leo Rush is, though.
I'm not. He is no longer.
Then he gets attacked from behind.
Yeah, attacked from behind Seth. To which John gets involved in that. Then Dean comes out and Dean gets involved in that. And then, of course, I'm sitting there and I'm like,
Finn gets out,
and I go, here
out.
comes Finn Balor. And then, dun.
He got a huge pop when he came out.
I agree. But my kid goes,
He always does.
My kid goes, how did you know? And I go, I just know.
It's WWE.
I got ESPN.
And that's the thing. So
your boobs.
While that match was a good match, it was incredibly predictable. And that's what we're getting. We're getting sick of. We want to see something fresh, something new. I don't want predictable. But it was a good match, so I let that go.
You also said last week it's going to take about a year.
I agree with that. However, when it's that fucking predictable, it's like, all right, but a decent match was put on afterwards.
I agree. I'm okay.
Right.
Leading up to the match, you're absolutely right. It's kind of hokey, all that shit. The match itself was great.
Good match. Next was the Hulk Hogan tribute to Mean Gene, right? And
That was great.
this
The only part I liked about Raw.
this was phenomenal. We'll go into more about this later, but spectacular. Up next was the Lumberjack match. Bobby Roode and Chad Gable defending the Raw tag team titles against the Revival.
That was actually a good match.
Somehow,
I was gonna say
somehow Rhino was back.
Rhino's been back.
He's been
He's
back
since
for the
Christmas.
past 2 weeks.
Yeah,
He came back
He
on
was
Christmas.
Santa Claus on
Oh, okay.
Christmas. Yeah.
But he's a tag team.
The new regime, the
Yeah,
change,
okay.
the new regime.
Yeah, Slater.
You know,
Rhino
the
back
new
there.
regime that's always been in charge, the
Yeah,
McMahons.
once they ousted Corbin, they dropped Slater.
They brought Rhino back.
They have never been in charge the way they are in charge now. They have never all been on the same page. Calm yourself. Stop making it seem worse than it is. Sorry.
Oh, Triple H's little promo.
Okay.
The Lumberjack match was
So
good.
I didn't think so, actually. I thought there was some couple wonky spots in it and everything like that. And then
The same bullshit finish from last week.
then the Revival lost in a bad way again. Now, that crowd didn't give a fuck
About
about
anybody
that
out there.
match. We're in Orlando. Orlando, the home of NXT, where the Revival was the most popular tag team in NXT. And that crowd,
And even Gable, who
that
he's with
crowd
American
was
Alpha.
so fucking dead, no one gave a shit. Because you keep screwing with them. Had you given the Revival the win, changes that.
They're
Raw's tag team
they're,
division's a
they're
piss
keep
break.
postponing it because they're going to give them the win at Rumble.
Why not give him the win now? Okay. We'll go back to that. Up next, Baron Corbin defeating Elias. Okay.
Why?
Then after that, Braun Strowman decides to have a face-to-face with Brock Lesnar in a split-screen promo that was constantly being told by everyone in the back, hold off, go slow, hold off, go slow. Because they wanted to hit fucking halftime for the fucking national championship. And right as fucking halftime started, Brock's music hits. Then they switch over and they see Brock coming out. So what we have to deal with, people that aren't watching the national championship, is the worst fucking promo segment I've seen on Raw. I'm sorry, the most 2018 promo segment I've seen on Raw since anything in 2000. It was horrible.
Yeah, Strowman's
It
part
was
that was bad.
fucking shit.
He looked lost.
Also, you can see his retainer.
Well, not only that, but so what did they do? Like, all right, just go out there and kill a bunch of time, and he's not John Cena, so he can't do it.
Yeah, so you see that Strowman can't hold his own.
That
on
makes
the
so much
microphone.
more sense because I was wondering that too. I was like,
horrible.
What would they do?
Have
Just
we
let
s-
him wing it? Like
have
it
we
was
said-
it was bad on his part.
We said is that Strowman's promos need to be short and sweet.
Yes. Up next,
Why
Apollo
didn't you
Crews
just go to commercial break and then have him come back right after in the ring face to face?
or have Baron Corbin and Elias go a little bit longer. It wasn't a whole, again, it's not bad. What I'm saying is like, so now I'm dropping even more, right?
I can see why
Yeah.
with the Lesnar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
So
makes
then
sense.
up next was Apollo Crews and Ember Moon defeating Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox.
Squash.
Apollo Crews' team got the win. Ember Moon with the pin on Alicia Fox, right?
that match wasn't bad either.
Up next was the Moment of Bliss segment, where Ronda comes out and she's talking about how she wants to face someone who has more athleticism than Charlotte Flair and has more charisma than Becky Lynch, and she choosing Sasha fucking Banks. And everyone in their fucking mind went, huh?
What? Yeah. That's exactly what
On top of that being kind of a wonky fucking segment from Alexis. The first time in a long time I have gone, wow, Alexis kind of off right
Well,
here.
Rhonda and they're both just out there remembering their scripts that were written for them.
But to be fair,
that shit is getting old.
But normally Alexa nails that.
yeah,
shit.
this was one of
I was more so referring to Rhonda.
but even Alexa was off during this one. Then Sasha comes out.
Nia first.
Nia comes out first? All right, so Nia comes out and she's like, Mom, that's Nia Jackson. I'm not saying anything different ever again. It's a really bad fucking promo. Then Sasha comes out. And Sasha's like, fuck you, bitch. We're going to go to the fucking ring and whoever wins gets Ronda at the Rumble. Well, where was that?
And then that match was dog shit to me.
And then fucking Nia sits on the fucking chair and she goes, I ain't going fucking nowhere.
Yeah, she basically let Sasha punk her out.
Yeah,
Until you come back from the commercial break, and then they're in the
And then
ring.
and it's not
Like-
like imagine if like someone comes out and says, get your ass in there. I understand.
then she sits- yeah.
Right. You get your fucking ass in there. No, then all of a
I'm
sudden
not
she
a
shows
bitch,
up.
I'm the bitch.
I was bitching about that shit so,
bad.
hard.
And
Like,
then that match was Botch-A-Mania. There was the fucking segment where fucking
The spot, the apron spot with the Rana?
No,
The
Sasha's
Rana apron
fucking neck,
spot.
Sasha's neck from the
Bounces
corner.
off the rope,
Oh,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then the Hurricane Rana apron spot where it was like, wait, what the fuck was that?
You
Who
remember
was supposed to go where?
Nia
You
couldn't sell it.
remember when Sasha was like doing her little run for the championship and whatnot? It looked like she'd kill herself like every other fucking week.
Yeah, but she was Ziggler selling at that
Dude.
point.
Now then,
Tamina fucking rubs. She's fucking
yeah,
terrible.
we've all said this
Fuck.
consistently.
And they're presenting.
Next is a Falls Count Anywhere match, Intercontinental Championship. Dean Ambrose defending against Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose retains because Bobby Lashley decides to screw up an amazing match. We get another fucking
You knew that was gonna
wonky,
happen, though.
another fucking
But you
wonky
saw that coming,
finish.
too.
Every fucking wonky finish for the first title, wonky finish for the second title, wonky fucking match. Nia and Sasha. It's the only saving grace of this show.
It's
was
fucking
the
Hulk Hogan.
Was the Mean Gene tribute. And I will sit back and say fucking good on WWE for bringing Hogan back for that. Because it
I mentioned in my video, like,
Yep.
nobody else would have been as impactful as Hogan.
There's only one guy that can do that.
exactly.
And everybody else that possibly could have did it, they're all
Me
kicking
and my
daisies right
roommate
now.
were talking about it, and he was like, someone in creative was like, hey guys, know how we've been looking for a spot to bring Hogan back? Found it.
When it happened and they announced it, I put up on our Twitter. I was like, "This is slick. This is the who."
Yep.
Go ahead and bitch about this. You go ahead. Now you look like a fucking dick. But that was Hogan coming back for a Mean Gene tribute, which he cut a off. There's no fucking way that last promo was scripted.
No,
Like,
because
it was
like,
100%.
no, he
art.
put his glasses back on to compose himself.
Yes.
Because he was ready to cry.
Smitty, you cut a promo. You cut a video for us before this.
Which was horribly edited, I might say.
Hey, look, I shot that thing like 3 times because I kept rambling about how I actually feel about Hogan and
Like, I
Mean Gene.
started watching it, and then, like, I don't know if... Did you edit it, or did you edit
I
it?
cut down all of the blank spaces.
Yeah, I could tell because, like, his face would be like this, and then by the time he got to the actual point he was trying to make,
The
he'd be
only
like
thing
over
but the
here.
only thing I didn't edit at all. The only thing I didn't edit were the full answers. Like anything he was stating for an answer to any of the
Well,
questions.
I wrote down bullet points so I can keep myself on topic because I
That's
didn't
fine,
want to
but
rant.
It was
just
still
funny, the cuts throughout.
so. You said that no one else would have been as impactful that's alive for this. You stated that if it was just for this tribute, you understood it. Obviously, look, man, I have seen nothing but other people on Twitter, on other wrestling podcasts, on wrestling shows, where there's a whole bunch of white dudes talking about why fucking black people should get over what Hogan did, right?
And I explained that kind of like because it
So-
was a half-ass apology. He didn't really apologize for what he
and
did.
But
He
now
apologized for getting
I
caught.
want your take on this and what you would like, if anything, to see from Hogan in the future in WWE. Floor is yours.
Once again, first things first. I don't want to see anything from Hogan until I hear a full apology. Like not just I apologize for getting caught. I want a sincere apology.
Yeah.
And until that, I don't want anything else from Hogan. Like this is just an occasion where Hogan was the right person for at the right time for.
He was the only guy.
Like I said, anybody, like I said in the video, anybody else that's pretty much that would have been credible is kicking daisies right now.
Maybe Flair, but
I even said maybe Flair, but maybe
if Hogan and Flair
okay,
are both available, you're taking Hogan.
Okay, let me tell you what. But there's another reason I cut like during my first recording. I talked about like people like guys like Flair. His Mean Gene moments are not WWE, WWF. They're WCW, and WCW is still an asterisk.
And AWA way back in the day.
But once again, like if it's not like when it comes to the WWE, WWF
No, you're right.
product,
That's why I said Hogan is really the only guy.
And I say Jake Roberts.
They've
was
got the
another guy
history. That's
Well, he's another guy that you could have used, but he's not as impactful as Hogan.
look. Mean Gene interviewed the whole roster back in the day, but the guy that's synonymous with Mean Gene
Is
Hogan.
Hogan.
Okay, it's Hogan.
Which I briefly said that already. So that was. I don't want to see. What was I gonna say? I don't want to see anything from Hogan until there's a full blown apology.
You're not going to get that, dude. He made that's done. This
I
shit is.
get it. Like I say, what
He made the apology. This shit is being swept away. It's being pushed back in time.
It's being swept away by
They're not-
WWE.
they're not gonna address it
stop,
anymore.
Stop. Yes, everything you're saying is true, but I'm asking Smitty, what he's looking for out of this. Him personally, as an African-American man who has had that word used against him in obviously in derogatory fashion, but now one of his heroes from wrestling, he heard him say it and then go, man, really sorry I got caught. That's what and that's what I'm angry about.
Yes. It's not that he's not really sorry about what he did. That's what it comes off as.
So you're never gonna get another apology. So you're either gonna have to get over it or not, and just not embrace him ever again, because they're never gonna address the situation ever again.
So let's say they actually don't ever address the situation again. They won't. Okay, but this is wrestling. Never say never. Right? So let's say they don't. Do you ever? What would okay? Let's just the product WWE as a whole to you.
The product WWE as a whole to me is it's going to take a hit. Like for me, like I know there's other options out there, and
it's going to take a hit because of Hogan.
Yeah, like I said, Hogan was one of my childhood heroes. He was one of the reasons I got into professional wrestling as a child. And just to figure out he's a piece of shit human being explains why you're always wrong.
Can't you separate the two? Like, look, like Tom Cruise is a fucking lunatic, but Mission Impossible movies are good. Like,
yeah, even Jack Reacher movies are fucking good.
I mean, can't you just accept for what he's done and just what you don't like?
Yeah,
I understand. I understand.
Let me ask you a question, Joe. Let me ask you a question. Okay. Let's say fucking one of your favorite wrestlers meets you and your daughter and your whole family one day and just looks at your kid and said, wow, that is a little piece of fucking shit. Let's just say that, right? Just in shoot style, not being in a heel character or anything like that. How would that piss you off?
I don't think that's really the same.
Okay, but I'm asking you. Okay.
That's not the same as Hogan saying something about not Smitty
but it does
being
affect
recorded
him,
against his will.
But it does affect him, though, in that way.
That's not the same, though.
You can't say that's not the same to him. You can't say that that's how he feels.
Let's say if you ever came up to AJ Styles, he called you a kike motherfucker.
Didn't directly walk up to Smitty and say it to
Hogan didn't walk up to you and call you the N-word. He was talking about someone else in a private conversation.
If Hogan behind closed doors was like, yeah, fuck all Jews, even Joe, then, Joe would be a little upset.
Like maybe if he mentioned Smitty's name in the sex tape, that's what you're saying here.
No, I'm not. I'm saying it is
that word is offensive to a whole people. It's not just me. I happen to fall into that category of group of people.
You can't. It's like saying.
And I agree with you on that.
And it's saying it's like Smitty's opinion and feelings.
Fuck,
don't matter.
man. If I had to ostracize everyone that you'd have used a Jewish racial slur against me or just period, I'd have no friends.
Also, me and Joe would not be friends.
But there's also a difference in when people that you are friends with say it in a joking way.
No, I mean that not joking.
Yeah,
also,
but
I would have no friends.
I don't say that in a joking way. You know what I mean?
Hell, I even said it in a joking way, but the other week, I dropped a hard ER just for dramatic effect and a shock factor and just try to get a quick laugh out of somebody.
But what I'm getting at here is you can't say that how Smitty feels about it is different than how you would feel if someone attacked your kid. Because I would look the same thing and be like, dude, there isn't a single word that can be said to me ever, even if I'm a white guy or whatever, anything. Nobody could attack me physically, mentally, emotionally, or anything that would ever piss me off to where, in the long run, I couldn't be cordial with that person, right? However, if somebody attacked my kid, could never be cordial with that person.
Somebody attacked my kid, I killed them, though.
I'm talking about verbally.
Yeah, this doesn't seem...
But hold on, but it does, because if Smitty hears that word, if a lot of African Americans hear that word, there are some that can shrug it off. I completely agree.
But this is somebody I looked up to at one point.
If anybody uses that word, it feels like a personal attack, and it feels like a personal attack. And dude, I'm fucking white, so I could be completely getting this wrong. But I grew up in every one of my friends are black.
You cannot say a racial slur is the same thing as attacking someone's kid, dude.
You can say that it's a personal attack.
Yeah, no, it can be argued that it's a form of a personal attack, absolutely.
And that's what it is.
As far as
It's called a
attacking
racial
a family
slur.
member, I mean, I see where Mikey's going with this and the point he's trying to make, but I am with you where I don't necessarily think it's on par.
It's not on the same
But
level.
I do get where Mikey's coming from as far as like trying to line it up with, because you're not black, I'm not black, we don't understand what it's like to be called
Now,
that.
the
or even talk
comparable
about it, but-
question was, what if Hogan did everything he did and replaced what he said with kike or Jew word? Would I still feel the same as Smitty? No.
But that's no, because you don't feel personally attacked by those words.
No, I do sometimes, especially when they're used in a heinous manner.
Sometimes.
Like, this dude is literally angry at Hangman Page's fucking gimmick because of the word.
That's
hang.
his own
And-
fucking problem.
right? And we give him shit, but that's.
And now
but
it's
then
in
when
the
it
US.
comes, but when it comes to that word, I have grown up around friends who, the minute they hear it, are done dealing with the person that said it. If it was in a derogatory fashion.
I used to be the guy that would punch you in the face straight up for saying it. Now I've gotten older and walked away from it. But
So basically, the point I'm getting at is you can't say that he has to get over it, or his.
No, I'm not saying he has to get over it. I'm saying he has to
Okay.
A, either get over it, or B, not. Because Hogan, they're not gonna. He's saying he's waiting for another apology.
No, he's
What
saying,
I'm waiting for a proper apology.
Well,
not-
that's
You're
not,
not
what
gonna
I
get
am
that.
saying.
I know
Is
I'm not
that's
gonna-
not going to
it's not gonna
happen.
get it.
So he needs to either A, get over it, or B, say fuck Hogan. I'm done with him, because you're not getting another apology. I'm not telling him to get over it.
But
I'm
like,
saying he has
so,
to
like,
reach
like,
one
no,
of these
part-
two
like,
conclusions.
Part of me still wants to have faith in him as a human being, and I think that's what I'm holding out for. Not just the faith of a human being that he can, use social media, use whatever you have. It doesn't have to be an official statement from WWE from him. He has social media. He does all this. Like
That's fine.
He's already
but
been
here's the
he's
thing.
already been a
They
social media
banned him
darling
from the
since all this
company.
happened.
They just reinstated him. They just brought him back. They're not even going to mention it.
They will
They're
never
gonna
mention
hope-
it again.
They're going to hope people like you, and I don't mean because of the color of skin, just fans like you, they're going to hope you forgot.
okay, that's
They're
once again,
going
WWE
to,
something
they're
intelligence
going. I
to
know,
people.
but they're going to, like they did, and
And you could hear
and it
it.
sucks that they did it for the Mean
You could hear it in the
Gene.
arena. People.
His crowd, like
That was not a Hogan pop.
that was not a Hogan pop.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
trust me, I was at WrestleMania 18.
That was the worst pop Hogan's
I
ever
know
gotten.
what a Hogan pop is. That was not it.
And I was when him and Edge were tag champs. When they were in Detroit for a live show, I've seen a Hogan pop.
Yeah, no,
I mean, there was Hogan chants and there was cheers and but that was not. I mean,
That was not the immortal Hulk Hogan
yeah.
pop.
If that incident hadn't happened, I mean, yeah, you get that you know what the fucking Road Warrior pop, Hogan pop. That was not it. I mean, granted, you said earlier like the crowd was kind of like quiet.
It was
It could have been partly that, but at the same time, it's fucking Hulk Hogan.
You're gonna get something.
He
out
could have
of it.
been in Omaha and gotten a huge fucking pop.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, Orlando's different. So yes, that's just what I would, and he's not Smitty's not expecting this apology. I'm asking, what would it be?
I'm
for
not.
him
and
to-
I'm
yeah.
not telling Smitty
Yeah.
to get over it. I'm just saying
Right.
you're not getting an apology, so you got to
I
either
gotta
do
think
one
so.
of two things: either get over it or don't. Like,
No,
say,
I'm taking
just-
option number C.
just
I'm
be
just gonna look at him differently. That's-
So
you're gonna put him in a category.
yeah.
You put him in.
And I'm sorry, and I think that's the first assessment
I
because
can
me
see
as a
that.
fan, as a lifelong fan of the Hulk Hogan character, and who I see Terry Bollea is as a man at this point,
makes sense.
and it's a compromise on my part because I
So
don't.
Hogan has a 10-inch dick. Terry Bollea, small penis. To quote his fucking
God,
testimony.
yeah, his testimony
Hey
for
man, I
Gawker.
saw that tape, but man, I mean, he's the Hulk, man.
So Z, we've expressed. Joe, are you on the same page about fucking Raw? We thought it majorly sucked.
I thought it had good moments. Overall, it sucked. I
Right.
I just want to say Nia Jax, dude. Real quick, they present her as a total diva when they should be presenting her as a monster. They make her look bad.
She's the big show of the women's division.
So
They
Z,
don't know what the hell to do, how to book her.
so Z, you like this?
Compared to Raw's past, I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, it was.
I thought this was almost as bad as any Raw recently.
Are we
Yeah.
going to talk about Wrestle Kingdom at all?
No, because
Dude,
we
we're-
don't have fucking time. We're already over.
Fucking spent 40 minutes on a shitty Raw and didn't cover any of Wrestle Kingdom. The fuck is that?
All
I mean,
titles changed hands.
I got no fucking problem sitting and talking. If Z wants to take off, Z can take off because I know he has to be up early.
Yep.
I don't
I
give
got
a shit.
tomorrow off, so
Wrestle Kingdom, all the elite.
Wait, okay, before we go into this, before we go into Wrestle Kingdom, back to the tag match on Raw. Remember what we were talking about, why I thought the match wasn't, them not giving them the belt.
they would have piss break match of Raw.
Well,
literally.
hold on. You asked why I liked it.
Yes.
So, the 6-man tag match to open the show wasn't bad.
I'm talking about the
For the second
revival
week
match.
what's that? I know, but for the second week in a row,
Oh, yeah.
Raw started out right out the gate with action. Like, granted, right after the whole Lashley and Rollins thing to start it, you had your typical Cena promo.
That's not really typical these days, though, because
Yeah, it
I know,
is.
but he literally came out
he
and
just came back, though.
almost
so.
said
It's almost the same thing happened last week on SmackDown with Becky.
He needs a haircut. He's balding really bad in the back.
Yeah,
of
I
his
didn't
head.
notice that till he grew his
He-
fucking
he's
hair
literally-
out.
I never thought he was like this generation's Hulk Hogan until I saw that bald spot. on the
Nah, I'd
back
say
of
more of
his
a
head.
JBL hair wise.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, so that wasn't bad. What was the match after that?
The next thing was the Hogan tribute.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
And then
you
the
can't knock the
tag
mean.
match.
I had like a couple tears running down my face after
Look,
that.
that was
so,
the best
like,
Oh yeah, me too. I was trying to
have-
hold.
I have
I was
no-
trying to hold him back because I was sitting next to my girlfriend. You know, I didn't want her to see
Yeah,
me.
no. Ellie's looking
Fucking-
at me, pointing and laughing. She's like,
But actually,
why?
I looked over at my girlfriend and she was crying. I was like,
And that, no, it was
"Ah."
funny because in the beginning of it, I was like, "Hey, like, leave me alone for a minute." And she's like, "Are you really crying over wrestling?" And by the end of it, she's like sniffling in the corner. She's like, "I didn't even know who he was, and this made me cry."
No, I was sitting with my cousin watching, and we just literally were both just like, "Holy shit, this is the best part."
So you have a not terrible, not too bad. In fact, I thought it was good 6-man tag match. Which, and the thing about it is though, the reason this match gets a little bit of something extra from me at least is because I don't think I've ever said, "Hey, I really like that 6-man tag match," unless it was like the Wyatts versus the Shield, and that's circa 2013.
Or the Shield versus Authority. That was a really good fucking one, too.
The Shield versus Evolution.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you're never like, "Oh, they put together a 6-man tag match. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a great match." But it was really good. I was a fan of the pop Finn got. Then we went into the Mean Gene thing. Coming out of it, you do the Lumberjack tag match. Now, you're upset about the finish of the match. On the flip side,
I didn't mind that
think
finish.
think the match was good. I like the finish.
Bobby Roode
and-
was on fire in that match, dude. Like,
and and the match was really good. And it was something different. When was the last time you saw a tag team
So,
lumberjack match?
Let me ask you this.
It was the same match from last week, except with lumberjacks. But literally,
Okay, but it's a different but when was the last time you saw a tag team lumberjack match?
Okay, well, let me.
just because a stipulation that it doesn't make it a good match.
When was the last time you saw a tag team lumberjack match?
It was the last time you saw.
Okay, I'm done talking to him. What were you gonna say?
My talk about the wonky finish. I'm not saying the match was horrible, right? I'm saying you're telling me that you're trying to give a change, to give the fans more of what they want, right?
Yep.
This match ended the exact same way it did the last time. Another wonky finish. Your first live episode back from your holiday break, right?
I believe this one was taped too.
Nope.
Wasn't?
Nope. This was live.
Okay.
This is your first live episode back from all of the holiday stuff. 3 weeks removed from you going, oops.
But again, 3 weeks, not a year. 3
Still
weeks.
3 weeks, but now it's, look, we've given you these two. We can't really do anything much for these taped matches, for these tape Raws. We did a little bit of stuff. We got Rusev going over on SmackDown. But SmackDown's not the problem. Raw is your fucking flagship show that is fucking getting shit on left and right.
So
So you need something to give your fans faith, to show that, hey, we're not just flipping anything over, but we are doing something.
And they are.
This is now the second time the Revival have had a match. Your crowd hates it. In Orlando has no give a fuck about this match. But you get the Revival the win, that crowd changes.
And it
because
gives
now it's the crowd going, holy shit, a team that we love, that we feel deserve some sort of recognition, you finally did something for.
It also puts a little bit of vigor back in the tag division over there in Raw, which is.
But all you're really saying, okay, so you are 3 weeks removed from saying we're going to change it. So, past 2 weeks after the announcement, the Revival have not been looked at as jobbers anymore. Like, they're actually going for the title. They're in the tag team main event picture.
They've won one match since then.
And they're getting the push that you wanted. You just don't like the way they're being pushed right now.
But it's not a push.
Yes, it is.
If
because
they
didn't lose.
You did lose.
But but they didn't lose.
But
like,
they did.
Yes, they did.
It doesn't matter how, whatever the fucking thing says.
But they're going to
you
get a
still lost.
rematch, is my point. Like
How do you
they're
know?
going to get this string of matches and be on the upper card.
Automatic
like everybody
rematches
wanted.
are not a thing.
but
anymore.
they'll-
They'll
now
get a
you're-
rematch.
But,
But, okay.
but now you're not a fan of the way they're doing it.
No, I'm not, going to give the fans more of what they want, less of what they don't want. That's what
We're
your
going to give
statement
you
is.
the Revival in the main event tag team picture, but you're just not going to like what we do with it.
But if you're
More or
trying
less.
to, but all we do is see, hey, remember how the Revival kept losing to Lucha Underground in bullshit ways? They kept
Lucha
having
House
bullshit
Party.
Lucha House
losses.
Party.
And, yeah, whatever. And they fucking kept losing and in bullshit ways. Now they keep losing to Chad Gable and Bobby Roode in bullshit ways. It's not different. It's not different. It's the same fucking thing.
It is
I don't give
different.
it.
It's
No,
2 on
it's
2
not.
and not 2 on 3.
It's the same fucking.
But here's the thing, like you got one of the biggest things
Now
that
it's
we
not-
bitched about beyond it being a Raw that sucked was the continuity. Now they're kind of giving you continuity, but you don't like it because they kind of just did it. But almost everything in wrestling is recycled. You change a variable here and a variable there, and it pretends to be something new when it's really not actually that new. But they are giving a team that wasn't getting a push before, they're actually giving the Revival some spotlight. And yes, I can
spotlight?
see where you're going. Like WWE has a pattern of constantly doing things we don't like. So seeing 2 wonky finishes and 2 tag team matches 2 weeks in a row is like, all right, fine. Give it a couple more weeks. Now they do it for a 3rd week in a row. Yeah, you're right. Fuck them.
You're
But
the
what
main
I'm saying
event
is like they're trying to build the Revival up to be a legit team after shitting on them since they've brought them up to the main roster.
But give them wins. Don't throw them straight to the tag. Don't throw them straight to the titles. Let them take wins over the guys like the B team.
But they're also
Let them
trying
take-
to make Gable and Rude look like an actual threat. So if you have
keep those guys away
Shut
from each other
up!
right now.
Yeah,
If
you won't let him get a point out. Shut the fuck
If
up.
you actually fucking build Chad Gable and Bobby Roode to look like an actual threat, even if it is a wonky loss for the Revival, but it's not like, oh, the Revival just came in and smashed Chad Gable and Bobby Roode, what would be the point in that? They would take away from them. So you kind of build it up slowly. Yeah, I get it. You're not happy about the finishes, but they are at least trying to move forward with the Revival.
It's a finish that keeps both teams strong.
Yeah, right.
No, I don't think it keeps both teams. If you want to give it a wonky finish the opposite way, one, Rude and Gable are supposed to be your fucking faces. But they're winning in bullshit ways.
Now, what I would have been okay with at the end of this match because of the way it ended,
It's not like they cheated.
if somebody
They didn't cheat.
If one of the McMahon, okay, so there's 4 people running Raw, right? That's how it is. So one of them comes out and is like, no, we did this last week. We're not doing this again. Restart this match. There must be a winner. Blah, blah, blah. Like, no, you know what I mean? Like, no rope breaks anymore. Like, that's not a thing. So go back to that, which would again be a continuation of what Baron Corbin did as GM. Like, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you this is now a no DQ match. But at least then you could correct it there. But I think they're waiting for the Rumble to kind of let the Revival go over at the Rumble, and then that can kind of be their road to WrestleMania. But, anyways, me personally, I like the match. I didn't mind the finish. I like seeing a lumberjack match because I haven't seen one in a while, especially a tag team lumberjack match. So now going into the women's stuff, the Nia Sasha match, I wasn't really feeling it. I mean, it
Wasn't feeling that at all.
No, and I already knew like
For
Sasha was going over.
several reasons.
And then I was watching the match and I missed the part where Sasha almost died. And then our Twitter, I got our Twitter notifications like, oh my god,
Oh, the
Sasha
Miss
just died.
Miss
So I had
Rana.
Well, Sasha's dead.
rewind 2 minutes and watched her fucking neck bounce off the fucking rope. And that whole moment of bliss segment was but it's funny when they give her spots like that in the show. Like, remember when they used to ever try to do the "This Is Your Life" and that was awful with like Charlotte Flair.
That was Bailey.
Yeah,
Was it Bailey? Whoever it was, but
It was voted.
remember how
like
awful that was?
Yeah, I think it was literally voted the worst segment of the year.
Right. So when they give her stuff like this to do, she doesn't excel very well. But when they give her like more like a GM role, she seems to excel with it. But whatever. So I didn't necessarily mind the moment of bliss at first. It turned into something I didn't care for. So I mean, yeah, that's a low light. Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose was a great match. But the entire time, in the minute you found out it was Falls Count Anywhere, you knew Lashley was going to have something to do with that match, having a blow-off for Seth and Dean, moving Seth to a program with Lashley, but not exactly ending the feud with Dean. So if you have to, you can always come back to that. But it was a great match. The one thing I didn't like about it, and I hate this about every Falls Count Anywhere match, they fight all over the arena and then end up back in the ring.
It's the best fight ever.
That's nothing new.
I know, but to
That's
me,
what he hates about
it's stupid. Like, Falls Count Anywhere, like, it used to be sweet. Like, I used to enjoy hardcore title matches just because you see the guy getting pinned backstage on a box or something and it actually counts. Like, to me, that's a Falls Count Anywhere match. If you're going to end up back in the ring, you might as well just have a no DQ match. But yeah, I mean, overall, I would give Raw a 7. And that's, that's better than it's been past month, past 2 months, 3 months. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that this is a great Raw and everybody should watch it, but compared to the shit they've been feeding us, this wasn't that bad.
I think that last week's Raw, the one in Detroit, was way better than a lot of people gave it credit for.
Yeah, no, because I was there and we saw the shit storm on Twitter and we're like, why? The show isn't bad at all.
But what's funny is you're the only person that I know and that I have seen on social media that has thought this was an okay Raw. Everyone else has thought it was shit.
I know,
With okay
but
moments.
wrestling's subjective.
Right.
I have a different taste in wrestling than most people.
Yeah, put
Okay
a new
with
taste in your mouth,
Okay with it.
Marcus.
I don't know. That's just.
Oh, sorry. Put a new taste in your mouth over there, Smitty. Marcus.
Shut the fuck up, you shit eaters.
So what's this tuna shit? Let's get to that.
So,
Oh, Priscilla Kelly thing.
before we go into Wrestle Kingdom and talk about the winnings of that,
We're going to talk about tuna and tampons. The important shit in wrestling,
I know. We're gonna get straight to the point.
Joe is really angry.
Period.
About this.
Well, that's how
Joe thinks this is tickle twat.
that's how
no,
kids
I
are getting
really
high
don't.
Well, I
nowadays,
think it's
right?
bloody brilliant.
I don't give a fuck either way about it, really.
Fucking Priscilla Kelly.
Kelly, yeah.
I almost said Priscilla Presley.
She's-
Elvis's wife. She was in fucking.
I've seen her at one of them. I think she might have been at the show.
She was on the Mae Young Classic.
She was.
She
I
was
think
in-
she was at the last Evolve show I was
That's
at.
pretty sweet. So she was in a match in a 21 and up setting. She pulled her tampon.
After yelling, she wants to taste the tuna.
She
Well, the
pulled-
wrestler she was wrestling was named Tuna.
Tuna.
Yeah.
She pulls her tampon,
Classy.
which apparently had blood on it, and shoved it in the other girl's
That
mouth.
had to be a gimmick.
I used to go to a bar, and one of the regulars there would bring tampons with him and dip them in grenadine. And when like a person they didn't like walking in the bar, he'd take the tampon out and just suck it like a fucking popsicle. And how quickly people would leave is amazing.
That is fucking fantastic.
Now, there is a lot of people giving her shit on social media
For what?
for saying she's killing the business, destroying it. This is the worst fucking thing ever.
Mick Foley used to put a sock down somebody's throat that he kept in his fucking crotch.
Right, but was there blood involved on it?
His dick sweat involved in there.
But was it really blood?
Again, you don't know.
Right.
No, obviously it's not.
I'm going to assume it wasn't because.
Right. So she's getting all this shit from social media for this.
But she's also getting eyes on her.
But her social media has jumped as far as views, agreed. But the thing is, the reason people are saying she's killing the business, and it was the most disgusting thing that's ever happened in wrestling. I can't argue the disgusting part of it.
Wait.
Listen to me.
Sure. Okay.
So I understand why people are pissed. I am not.
I don't
think
see
it
how
was
it's
I'm not either.
I don't see how it's killing the business. I mean, if a bitch did that to someone,
I
like
don't
in
see
real
how-
life, you'd be like, "Holy shit, that
baddest
was
fucking bitch."
fucking savage."
I've seen
that
so
fucking
many
bitch
things
is
in
wrong.
wrestling that
It
I
was
don't
bloody
think you
brilliant.
can honestly say this is the most disgusting thing you've ever seen happen. Guy saw a porta potty flip over on Mr. McMahon.
We've seen
Or-
grown men
yeah,
piss
right.
themselves.
Whatever. But it's not as bad as
The Spirits why I got covered in dookie.
I would rather piss myself than eat a bloody tampon.
I'm gonna tell you this right now.
I mean,
Yeah.
on the level of
So let me ask you a
Of
question.
grossness.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. All right. So what's grosser than someone shoving an actual bloody tampon in your mouth? Like she pulled it directly out of her crotch and shoves it in your mouth. What's grosser?
The Spirit Squad being bathed in shit.
You think that's grosser?
yeah. I mean, yeah.
I mean, if that was real, if they're say they're both real,
Okay, wait,
say
wait.
they're both real. Yeah, that's pretty fucking gross.
I don't think it's grosser.
Pat Patterson
I
taking
do.
shit stained draws and giving
Because,
Rikishi a stink face.
here's the thing: if I'm covered in shit like that, I guarantee you, I have it in my mouth, my nose, my ears. At least, like you shove it. Granted, it's disgusting that it's a bloody tampon. Spit it out your mouth, throw in some mouthwash, maybe go get an STD test. I don't know what to fucking tell you. When you're covered in shit, you're inhaling shit.
I'm not saying it's not gross. I'm not saying it's not gross. But
Pat Patterson skid mark stink face.
again, I don't think anything shit. Is
I would
grosser
rather
than
have a
someone's blood in my
300
mouth.
pound man's ass
No.
in my face than a tampon in my mouth.
No. Pat Patterson had skid mark drawers and gave Rikishi a stink face.
Doesn't matter. Again,
Also,
I'm saying
think that was a prop too, but whatever.
Of course it.
Yeah.
Of course it was.
But I'm saying, to me, it's not grosser.
Yes.
I don't think there's anything grosser than that. I think that is almost the epitome of gross. Like maybe if you put more stuff
I don't-
on the tampon and shoved it in my mouth, I can look, dude. I'm gonna tell you this.
I mean,
right
but also you got to keep in mind, like, is it like just the end was bloody?
No,
Is
no,
the
no,
thing,
no, no.
like,
No,
she shoved
like, when
it
I
in her
wring the
mouth.
motherfucker out and blood comes out. Like that changes my opinion on
No,
this.
she shoved it
So you
in
haven't
her
seen
mouth.
this video.
No, I saw like the clip of it.
And this video has reached non-wrestling people. Trust me, because
Yeah, because that's why I got
it's been
talked to about
posted
it.
in like other groups
Is
that I'm a
is
part
like
of.
Tampax trying
Like
to
you know,
sponsor
like
her now?
not like cool for regular Facebook groups, but they have nothing to do with wrestling. And this video's made it in there.
I want to be there.
I got approached about this on literally on Tuesday about it. Like, what the girl that shoved tampons down the lady wrestler who shoved tampons down the girl's throat.
So it's only 46. You've only seen a clip of it. What did you see the clip of?
I only saw like a picture of it in it.
Oh, so you didn't see
Yeah,
it.
like the beginning of the clip, like before you hit play, was her shut.
Wants to taste the tuna.
Taste the tuna.
Is it really fucking buffering?
Yeah.
Yep.
And
You want to taste the tuna? You know, some guys probably get off for this.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's
That's
get
what I
off
make
the
the
fucking the
joke.
grossest shit ever. I can't believe it's fucking.
some people like the real wings. Cherry pies, whatever you want to call it.
Z is watching this.
Like two girls in a cup.
His face went forward.
Okay, first of all, it's not a tampon; it's a fucking tea bag.
What are you talking about? Because it has a string? That's a tampon.
No, it's a square. It's not a fucking tampon.
It's
Do you
a gimp-
fucking think
whatever.
a fucking tampon stays in fucking shape?
You think I haven't pulled a tampon out to fuck before? Like I know what they look like when they've been pulled out.
right,
And this
by the
looks
way-
like a fucking tea bag.
Right, like she pulled a thing out of the tampon and had it in her shorts. It's not real blood. Anyway, yes, go ahead. So you're watching it.
Oh, here, I'm gonna rewatch. I
No,
still
no,
don't
no,
find
no.
it disgusting at all. Like, yeah, whatever. I mean, girls eat girls out all the time. It wouldn't be the first time she got blood in her mouth. I don't know. All right, no, but for real, I don't find it. I don't find that as disgusting as being covered in human feces, like from head to fucking toe. The drizzling shits, literally.
I don't know, man.
Holy shit! Thanks to Sean.
Put a poll on Facebook or Twitter. You know, I would
don't
be
do
more,
that.
I would be more
Don't do that
active
at all.
on our Twitter
Please,
if I
please
knew how
don't.
to Twitter.
Wait, no, the funny thing is,
Ditto. I'm with you on that, brother.
I say do. No, I say do it. It goes with our moniker.
No. All right. So basically, everyone's all pissed off. So a lot of people are pissed off at her, but the wrestling community has her back, as they should, because I don't think this is killing the business. I don't think anything Joey Ryan does ever killed the business. I think it's something different. You get eyes on you. Now fucking people are paying attention. I could see fucking AEW signing her up.
That's what I said that before. I can see AEW with all
I
eyes
can
on
see
her
her
now.
being sponsored by a tampon company.
Tampax. Priscilla Kelly's tampon. I'm sure.
Like the mail order version of that condom company.
When you got that heavy flow,
When you really want to win your match with your period.
with your against your opponent, tuna.
All right.
You want to taste the tuna? Wow. That's good.
It was just the
Side
greatest
note,
thing. in
I
wrestling,
love
period.
how Jesse from Pro Wrestling Scorecard just watches this whole show. It makes me so happy. He's literally still in here. Thank you, sir.
He's scouting.
So let's get into Wrestle Kingdom 13.
All right, I gotta go.
You have fun.
I really want to talk about this, but I really do have to go. And this is the
Can you bring a beer back for me before you
This is
leave?
the first New Japan pay-per-view that I've watched start to finish.
Stick around, bitch.
Well, what'd you think?
He's got to be up in 5
You
minutes.
like it or no? Real quick.
I loved every second of it. My favorite spot in the whole match was
A whole card.
was it the Kota Ibushi Jay White match?
Nope, Jay White-
No, Jay White.
Will
faced
Ospreay.
Okada.
Will Ospreay. So when they're doing
Hey, it's you.
the spot in the corner where Kota's just hanging there and Jay White smacks him and Kota sticks
Ospreay.
out his long ass arm and smacks him.
that was
and
Will
they do the whole
Ospreay, man.
Oh,
smack fight.
when Ibushi was smacking him.
Yeah, but he was
upside
upside down,
down.
with
Yeah.
Trio and then he starts smacking him and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
The slap.
that was pretty funny. I like that a lot. That match was really good. Like for me, I mean, I'm biased about the Jericho match, obviously,
I thought it's still the best one.
but
on the card.
I think Ibushi and Ospreay match of the night.
That was a shoot finish too. Like he knocked him out with that elbow. Like he really had to be
So he
carried.
really knocked.
Yeah, he
him
really
out?
knocked him
Yeah,
out.
that was
because
that was a shoot.
because now I saw the replay and I was like, wow, dude, like if it's not a work, like that sucks. But if that's a work, like that's great.
That was not a work.
Okay.
And that he had to yoke him up basically dead weight for Ospreay did for his finish.
But unlike I mean, there's a lot of wrestling in a little bit of time, so I don't really remember everything. But the thing that stands out is that slapping thing in the corner. Jericho and Naito.
That table DDT spot.
Yeah, no, really, really good. In fact, Jericho fucks himself up on the side of the table when he does it. But from start to finish, as a whole, I liked every. I didn't even know who half of these people were, but I was invested every match the entire way through. And correct me if I'm wrong, aren't these things like normally like 7 hours, and this one was only about 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was the shortest Wrestle Kingdom they've had in a while.
I was gonna say because the Jericho match was only 22 minutes long, which seems rather short.
Yeah, but it
compared to
was
their match
uber
last.
violent. I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
for
only
sure.
go that hard
Even
for so
Kenny
long.
only went 39.
Yeah, but they said
Only
they
39.
said that was the longest match in
The longest
Wrestle-
main event in Wrestle Kingdom
I was gonna say
history.
because didn't Okada and Kenny go like
That,
60 minutes?
that wasn't
last
at
year?
Wrestle
Nope,
Kingdom.
that was at Dominion.
Dominion.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I really liked it.
So I really enjoyed Kushida's entrance. Back to the Future themed entrance.
Dude, that little
that fucking thing.
they blew up an infant.
That was my favorite part.
That
of
fucking
back.
mask
Sorry.
freaked me out, bro.
It was so
I was like,
realistic.
that is the
Okay,
creepiest
I
shit
do have
I've
a
ever
question.
seen in my
Who-
life.
Who was doing commentary?
Don
Don
Callis,
Callis and who else?
Kevin
was-
Kelly.
who was
Kevin
on
Kelly.
Kevin
Don
Kelly.
Callis was on the plane with me, actually in line, getting on the plane from Detroit to Miami for the Jericho cruise. Actually,
So who was
Him
the,
and Scott
who,
D'Amore were.
Who was the
Keep
one?
that open.
Yeah, I know. Who was the one talking shit about blowing up the infant?
that was Don
Don
Callis.
Callis.
The whole night, I thought it was Zabisco, and I thought Kevin Kelly was like, I heard shades of Shivani in there, And I got really excited, like when they first started.
No, Don Cal, he's great. He's great.
No, they put together a good show. But yeah, I'll get you your beer and then I'm out here, guys.
Jericho and Naito.
Dude, did you see any of the pictures Jericho posted after that?
Oh yeah, Jericho's all kind of
The
fucked
patch
up.
of hair missing.
Yep.
Like
Because he took the pile driver on the stage.
and that was like right at the beginning of the
Yeah.
match, and like the DDT that Z was referring to, where he literally put Naito's head through a table with the DDT. Like, I almost wonder now, like if that was a receipt for
Probably.
for that. But I did notice at the end of the match, Naito and Jericho. I mean, Jericho like kind of gave him the Iggy. If you go back and watch real quick, like he kind of just like pinched his leg a little bit, like kind of like,
Yeah.
hey man, good match. And throughout all of their previous encounters, like matches, run-ins, whatever it may be, they got in a brawl at the contract signing, they got in a brawl at the press conference. Jericho's basically owned Naito, just beat the shit out of him every which way possible.
It made Naito a believable like baby face in this match.
But Jericho's been really stiff with him, actually beat the fuck out of him a lot. But in this match, Jericho did he put Naito over. He sold for him. He basically let Naito get all of his shit in, and at the end of the day, the year-long program was basically, I think, just to get Naito over. You know,
Which was fine by me. It was great.
I think the Wrestle Kingdom in general, it was just LIJ's night, man. It was
Yeah.
truly LIJ's night.
And I think I called that last week. They won every one of their I thought they'd be.
They won every one of their matches.
I thought they'd be holding all the gold at the end of the night, and they were. They LIJ, Los Ingobernables, they won the junior heavyweight
and
tag,
the heavy tags.
Shingo Takagi and Bushi, and
Evil
then
Sonata.
like I called that, as I called Sonata and Evil won the heavyweight tag, and then Naito gets the IC off Jericho. I mean, the whole fucking factions. I mean, LIJ's got all the gold right now.
Yeah.
Say Bone Soldier, he actually took the
And yeah,
the light
Bone
heavyweight.
Soldier
What
beat
match?
Kushida.
What match, Joe, for you stood out above the rest? Because a lot of people are saying Ospreay, others are saying Jericho.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say the main event, the one that should stand out, Kenny and Tanahashi.
I'd say
Really?
it did stand out. It was like
Why was that the one that stood out the most to you?
It was just a war. Not that was a war. Jericho and Naito was a fight, a brawl. Tanahashi and Omega was a war. Those guys had a lot of heat leading into this match. A lot of difference in philosophies, a lot of hatred toward each other, which I think some of it was actually real, because they do have a differing viewpoints on the business in general. And I think that came into play as part of the build-up and part of the storyline and part of the fight. And Tanahashi got... I do notice this in general when I watch New Japan. I feel like the Gaijin, the foreigners, I kind of feel like they take liberties with the Japanese, like they almost bully them, take advantage of them. Like if you watch Jericho over there, he just beats the fuck out of everybody, dude. It slaps young boys. And my girlfriend was watching the Kenny Tanahashi match with me, and she's like, I feel like Kenny's like really laying all of his shit in, and Tanahashi's just more like working. And I was like, I kind of get that feeling. I just feel like the foreigners, like, because the Japanese are so respectful, I feel like I do feel like the foreigners kind of take liberties with them because like they know they can get away with it. And I felt like I saw a little bit of that.
I thought they've been playing Western heels though at that point too.
Maybe there's a little bit of both. But I kind of felt that way during the Kenny Tanahashi. I felt like Kenny was just like beating the fuck out of. I mean, Tanahashi's face looked like a tomato when that match was over.
All right, so a lot of people said that that Kenny Omega's reign now in New Japan was horrible. Do you feel that way?
No, not at all. That's dumb. Who the fuck says that?
A lot of people actually.
A lot of people are dumb.
I don't
Well,
think
duh.
I don't think it was terrible. I think it was underwhelming though.
His reign in general or his title reign?
His title reign as IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
And Kenny even brought this up in a lot of his promos going against Tanahashi. There's probably some politics involved there, dude. They waited a really long time to put the title on him. And then when they did, then there's contract issues. So
I think they pulled the trigger to make fans happy, and then now
I think they
and also the Western
they
expansion.
pulled the
too.
trigger too late.
I think they pulled the trigger too late, and they did it because the whole expansion into the U.S. and literally, I think that's the reason they put it on Kenny at this point.
I don't think they ever wanted to really put it on Kenny if it were not for the expansion of the U.S. And then it happened, and then it was happened too late. And yeah, it probably wasn't a long enough run. Would I say it killed his run or killed his time? No. I mean, would I like to see a longer run and more out of it? Yeah, but
They'll say it was kind of underwhelming.
But I don't think it was like a killer of any kind.
Smitty, what stood out for you?
I said like the Kushida's entrance stood out for me, and
That was just creepy.
I thought it was awesome. And like I said, it blew up the infant line. And then match wise, I gotta go. Like you say, that fight between Jericho and Naito stood out because I love the brutality it was, and it looked real. And that was my favorite match on the card. And just the tag matches, like I was just surprised they didn't do the Battle Royal this year.
Well, they did the gauntlet match instead, which
I
was a
know.
lot more prestigious. Actually, look at the names in that fucking match.
I know that was like Suzuki Gun took that one.
No,
All right.
Taguchi Japan. Actually,
Taguchi Japan.
Much to my chagrin.
I just yawned, so it's time to start ending the show. First things first, remember, Wrestle Kingdom was awesome, but the next big pay-per-view is for the Royal Rumble and WWE.
We didn't talk Blackpool.
January 27th, it's going to be happening. The day before, NXT TakeOver is going to be happening. There was an event we'll talk about next week. NXT UK's first ever pay-per-view TakeOver Blackpool is happening this weekend.
This Saturday.
Yep. So we will talk about that next week. Next week, we will have a brand new host joining us, a guy who has been on the show before. Nick is going to be coming in and having a blast with us here on Breaking Down the Ring as a new permanent host. Just helping out because obviously it's the wintertime. A lot of us have other things going on that pulls us away, work, hockey, other things. So this way it doesn't come down to like a one-person show. I felt like while people said it was good, I felt bad because we're a show about multiple opinions, a myriad of opinions, so everyone's represented, and that's just why I feel like bringing another, when Orlando had to go part-time and everything because of his wrestling schedule, that we needed another full-time here just to make sure that every opinion is addressed. So, therefore, that's why.
Are we still looking for a woman as well, if we can?
If a woman, wants to join, I'll totally check her out. That sounded bad.
Yeah, that's not,
I meant like as a host, see what her credentials are. Because the good thing
I'll
about
check her out. I'll check her out as a whole.
yeah, damn it. But basically, so Nick went to Specs Howard with me. He has a lot of experience running a board, things like that, knowing how to put shows together. So I think it'll be a real help overall for all of us. Him coming. Also being said, remember for the Royal Rumble, we will be in Wyandotte, Michigan at Bobcat Bonnie's for our viewing party. Same thing as before. We will have some giveaways. We'll have some fun. Pro wrestling scorecards will be involved for everyone, as in things you can fill out because we are taking on pro wrestling scorecards.
I think I got Daniel this time, actually.
I don't remember who you have. We'll look at it. But we are taking them on in a rematch from Survivor Series, PWS v BDR. Jesse asked if this changes PWS v BDR. As it stands right now, no. But I haven't heard anything from Orlando if he's filling out a scorecard for this or if he's at that episode, he's in. If not, Nick will be in. Simple as that. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Follow us on all of our social media. We're almost to 1,000 followers on Twitter, so we'd love you. If you're listening, go to our Twitter. Follow at BDRcast. Really appreciate it. We are your ring crew.
Whole fucking Joe.
Mighty Tuna Eater.
Cool. and me, the almighty one, Mikey himself. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. We are out.
Smitey the Tuna Eater.